Americans, more than AIDS, Parkinson's, ALS, MS, and muscular dystrophy combined. Yet few know its name. Some years ago, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and after surgery, she developed lymphedema, LE, a cruel and chronic disease affecting 10 million Americans that occurs when the lymphatic system is compromised, leaving one with a lifetime of severe swelling and pain. What we found out later is its severity might have been lessened, or possibly even prevented, if only we were better informed. That's why I'm urging anyone facing cancer treatment to get educated, talk to your doctor, make it part of your cancer conversation. And if you have LE, share your story. With patients and doctors working together, we can learn and live. Learn more at lymphaticnetwork.org.
Somewhere around 400 feet off the ground, RPG came through the belly of the aircraft. When I first got out, I felt like my whole life had been smushed down to just medical appointments. I was going to occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy. We don't talk about the female combat wounded. These are our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. I'm not sure I would still be here if I didn't find the Friends and Wounded Warrior Project that I did. Because there was a long period after the injury where I really didn't understand why I was still here. I felt like I had lost everything. Wounded Warrior Project came into my life and taught me how to stand back up and get back in the fight. The truth is, I think we all have this strength inside of us, but until you're tested, you just don't know it's there.
See how Wounded Warrior Project empowers women veterans like Beth by visiting woundedwarriorproject.org/empowerwomenvets.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
They get up every morning from the alarm clocks, wanna take the 8:15 into the city. There's a whistle up above and people.
What a weekend in the world of sports. I mean, crazy. Hope you had a great weekend. We are here to talk about it. Little thing we call Sports 56 Mornings. The Monday, December 4th, 2023 edition. 3 weeks from Christmas. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure's annual Christmas sale going on right now. Excellent deals on everything from pool tables to saunas. Surprise the kids with a new arcade, game table, or play gym for Christmas. Check them out at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And the first hour of the program is brought to you by our friends at East Memphis Ace Hardware. On the program today, Barrett Sallee at 8:25, and I'm sure he has some things to talk about from the world of college football. Other than Barrett, no other guest scheduled. That means plenty of time to take your calls, read your texts at 901-360-8255. Also, you can hit us up on social media at Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, most social media networks. You can hit us up on our website, sportsmemphis.com. Many different ways to get in touch with us. What are we going to talk about? Well, college football, of course. The playoff is now set. The bowl games are set. We will discuss that. The portal opens up today officially. Yes, lots of things in college pigskin. We'll get to the NFL in hour number 3. Some big showdowns, including that Philadelphia-San Francisco battle. The Memphis Tigers basketball team lose on the road again in Oxford. It's a bugaboo going down there for them, and they lose 80-77 on Saturday. We will discuss that. It was also a bad weekend for a lot of ranked teams around the college basketball world. The Grizzlies split 2, winning in Dallas on Friday and then losing in Phoenix on Saturday, getting closer to the return of John Morant. We'll talk some Grizzlies and NBA. That's all coming up on the program today. Good morning.
Good morning.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Solid. I went down to Oxford, of course, on Saturday. Yesterday, was able to watch the football and then got stuck with hanging Christmas lights. A little sore today. To crawl around my roof a lot yesterday.
Did you really?
Doing a lot of work yesterday. It was a battle, but it got all the Christmas lights up. I think most of them anyway.
My wife called Window Genie. Window Genie does Christmas lights as well, so they put up the lights, and there's no way I'm going up there on the roof and doing that stuff. No, good for you. My wife's mad that I didn't help her with the decorations last night, although they haven't gone up yet. But I was busy watching television. Come on now. Don't bother me on a Sunday when we have all the big announcements from college football, and then we had the NFL all the way into the Sunday night game last night, the Packers upset of the Chiefs. So I was busy. Mr. Zach Boyd, how was your weekend?
Weekend was very chill for the most part.
Yeah, no hanging decorations like
Thank
Eli
God
did?
I don't have to climb up on top of my roof and hang lights.
Eli thinks he's Chris Kringle.
Yeah, no,
Climbing
that's
up
not
on
happening.
roofs, going down roofs.
Yeah, the roof of my house is too hilly, so it's going up and down.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
That's not happening.
Mine's too steep.
Mine's fairly steep on one side. I got stung by a bee while I was doing it too. It was a battle. It was a battle out there.
Well, the weather was really nice, so the bees and the bugs and all that are probably confused. They're like, wait, are we supposed to be dead now, or what? Are we coming back alive?
He was not confused when I put my hand on top of him. What to do? He got me. He knew exactly what to do.
I'm sure he did. Well, yesterday was quite interesting, to say the least. So I want to begin with college football. In fact, I would imagine the bulk of our conversation, at least early in the show, will be about that. Then we'll dive into the Tigers and basketball and all that good stuff. We know that the Tigers football team will be playing in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game. That was the word that had been out for numerous days, and it was all a matter of what the SEC ended up doing. But it will be Memphis, Iowa State rematch from 2017 in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game. Yesterday, a Zoom presser, Ryan Silverfield, head football coach, Laird Veach, athletics director, along with Steve Earhart, the executive director of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. They were all giddy. They were all happy. I can understand from the Memphis standpoint. You're not spending much money. You're getting a bigger chunk of the check. Remember, they don't get the entire check. They get a bigger chunk, lump sum. Here's the thing, though. The American Conference will not be getting money from the New Year's Six, as Liberty gets the nod over SMU after SMU stunned Tulane. And they stunned Tulane so much that Willie Fritz left town, became the new Houston coach. But I digress. Memphis going to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game, I guess, is good for most people. I don't know if you gave the players each a hit of truth serum, they probably would say, for the most part, the higher percentage, yeah, I'd rather go out of town. From a broadcasting standpoint, I'd much rather go to Fenway just to actually go there even in the dead of winter. But staying at home is staying at home. That means I get to spend Christmas with my family and have Christmas dinner and all that good stuff. But they're staying home, and they're happy. They get a chance to play a Power 5 conference team.
Yeah, I mean, I've said all along, if I was a player, I would not want this. But from a university perspective, it's 100% the best thing for them financially. And, for fans, obviously, it's not an opportunity to go out of town. But for a lot of fans that wouldn't be able to go out of town to go watch them, they get an opportunity now to see them because they are playing at home. Iowa State will bring a great crowd. They always do when they come here. They'll drink a bunch of Busch Light. They'll have a good time. They'll bring money to the city. So they are great to have them as the opponent as well. And it works out for the bowl game. It works out for the university, all that stuff. If I was a player, I wouldn't be so happy, but it is what it is.
Memphis has been designated as the visiting team, so that's going to be weird. I don't know the figures, and I really don't care to know the figures from back in 2017. As you mentioned, Iowa State came storming into town, and those folks from Ames, they spent a lot of money on hotels, restaurants. beer. But I wonder financially how much of a hit it is for hotels and things of that nature when it's only one of two teams that are coming in from outside the Memphis area. When it's the hometown team, you're losing that part of the money. So I imagine it's a lot less than what it would be if you have two schools coming in from outside the area.
Yeah, I don't know as far as hotels go. I do know that I remember going to the parade that year, and you couldn't move pretty much anywhere on Beale Street because it was all packed with Iowa State fans.
Yeah, I remember you telling me, and I think I questioned why the hell you were at the parade, but I still have never been to one of those parades. But that's great that they take it all in, they enjoy themselves. That's what it's all about, right? And if you look at the games, if you look at the bowl games and the matchups, and this isn't the first year, but it's very evident how they try to keep teams within the relative general vicinity of where they are located and things of that nature. I mean, sometimes they have to look outside the box, but certainly they do their best to try to make it economically sound for teams because a lot of schools will not be bringing a lot of fans. A lot of these bowl games are small bowl games. It's obviously during the holidays. People don't have that extra income, so they're trying to keep or at least defray the costs as much as they can.
Well, a lot of these bowl games, I mean, the way the teams make any money is by selling tickets. So, like, that's your payout for the bowl. So they got to do something to give them an opportunity to try and sell some tickets.
Yeah, and they're going to sell some, certainly, and they're probably going to hit, a lot of people are going to hit their allotment. But what I'm saying is it's a lot easier for a fan to go to a bowl game that's in the general vicinity of where they are located as opposed to going across the country. I mean, it's tough for people just to pick up and go to Hawaii and wherever the case may be. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy for Memphis. They're excited about it. It is interesting though when you think about it, and we have talked to Harold numerous times about how it all works. But once the decision was made that the SEC was not going to give Memphis an SEC team. By the way, that's a story within a story, that in this pool of 6 bowls, they are always last. If there's one bowl that doesn't get an SEC school, it's always them. But they've gone to the well twice now with Memphis in the last 6 years. So not a bad consolation, if you will, to be able to, call in the closer from the bullpen, which happens to be the University of Memphis. But you have that, and that's great. And for me, it's fantastic. Now, Maryland, my alma mater, is coming to Nashville, and they're playing Auburn in the Music City Bowl. That is the day after the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game. But I know Auburn was a school that Harold has talked about and that they were very interested in. But again, whether it be because it's not an NFL stadium or whatever the case may be, they always seem to get the shaft a little bit when it comes to the SEC. But we will go over some of the other bowl games a little bit later on, including where some of these SEC schools will be headed. But we do know this. There are 4 SEC teams that are involved in New Year's Six / playoff games. And I wondered about that, and I questioned that, and I said, shouldn't Ole Miss be able to get in as well as Missouri, Georgia, Alabama? And I don't know if you said they wouldn't be able to, or maybe you just said I didn't think they would. But I know that I thought to myself, why couldn't they? Because it's a selection. So they ended up getting in. So Ole Miss is going to a New Year's Six Bowl. Missouri is. Georgia is. And we know that Alabama is going into the 4-team playoff. And boy, if that wasn't controversial yesterday, finally the committee had to make a choice. And I'm so glad that there was some chaos because they have had it on easy street seemingly every single year. And I want to see what happens. I wanted to see what happens. And let's be honest, Bill Hancock in his final year as the executive director of the College Football Playoff came out and said, it's the best 4 teams. It's the best 4 teams, which is obviously subjective. And when you heard the announcement yesterday and saw the announcement, in their opinion, it was the 4 best teams because it certainly wasn't the 4 most deserving teams. And I went to town on Twitter, and I am really tired right now, to be honest with you. I know people keep bringing up, well, they look at the matchups. They look at the potential matchups. They're doing prognostication. They're doing this. They're doing that. Why are they doing that? Why should they be doing that? I don't understand why they're doing that. There were games played on the field, and they're not judging off of that. Florida State, I don't care. I know that Florida State is not as good as Alabama right now. I understand that. I get it. I know Florida State will probably go into that game against Georgia and get crushed. It doesn't matter. Did they deserve to be in the playoff? They absolutely did, and they got royally screwed. Nothing will change my mind that they didn't get screwed.
Yeah, I don't. It's amazing to me that a team in a Power 5 conference who played 2 non-conference games against SEC opponents can go, by the way, 1 on the road, 1 true road, 1 neutral site, so not even either one of them at home, 2 away games against SEC opponents in their non-conference, can get left out of the playoff. If that isn't worthy of getting into the playoff, then what are we doing? What are we playing a season for? That basically is saying that Florida State at the beginning of the year, you guys had no chance. You aren't getting into the playoff. I don't comprehend that. For 2 one-loss teams to get in over them just really doesn't make a lot of sense. And I feel for Mike Norvell and that team. And when you got Jordan Travis coming out and saying, I wish I'd have broke my leg earlier, I just don't. I don't understand it. That one's tough for me to see how you can tell a team that did what they did. They can't change their schedule midseason. They can't change their conference midseason and get different opponents from the conference so they can play a better schedule. Like, they beat everybody. And the thing is, first of all, to beat Louisville, who was what'd they end up in the final rankings, 15, 16 or whatever? But you're beating a team with your third-string quarterback, a true freshman third-string quarterback who had thrown 4 passes earlier. And, he didn't do anything. But the ability that your team is good enough to overcome that and still beat a top 15 team in a conference championship game with that situation at quarterback says a lot about your team. Like, it says how good you are. And the people are like, well, they only threw 50. This isn't the quarterback that they'll be playing in a bowl game or in the playoff. Rodemaker will be out of concussion protocol by then. I'm pretty sure in the next month he'll recover. He was questionable for this game. So, and the other thing that I don't like about one of the other things I don't like about this is I hate the secrecy about injuries and the way college football coaches are about injuries and all this other stuff, and we got to act like it's a national, CIA involved to try and figure out what injuries are. Well, this proves that, and now Travis was an obvious one because it was so severe on the field, but if you've got a guy that's hurt and may or may not, you could know he has no chance of playing the rest of the season. You should tell nobody.
That's what Danny Cannell said on Twitter.
You should not disclose a single thing about an injury because they can penalize you for it, and it can cost you a spot in the playoffs because your guy is hurt.
There are so many things that is wrong about this. There are so many things. First of all, they don't consider defense. Defense, I guess, does not matter. They limited Louisville, the 14th ranked team in the nation, when they played them the other night, to 6 total points. 6 total points. They still won by double figures. Okay, so they didn't score 40. This is an interesting tweet from Randy Scott from ESPN, and he's playing Committee in Florida State. Committee, you should schedule tough non-conference games. FSU, we beat LSU in Florida. Florida in the swamp, by the way. Committee, you should really be a Power 5 conference champion. FSU, we won the ACC. And again, it is the ACC, right? It is a Power 5 conference here. They're treating Florida State like Liberty. And actually, they gave Liberty more of the benefit of the doubt. Committee, you should be undefeated. Florida State, we're 13-0. I mean, they hit every criteria that they could. They got a player who's injured. They're pulling out a crystal ball and they're just assuming this, assuming that. Who knows if any of these semifinals will be close? They usually are not close. Blake Topmeyer, who joins us every other Tuesday, will be on tomorrow, wrote exactly what I tweeted about. And I wasn't doing this tongue-in-cheek. Greg Sankey is the most powerful person in college football, maybe in all the sports, if you look at the power he has. The combination of Greg Sankey coming out and saying it would be ludicrous or whatever he said about not having an SEC school. Greg Sankey, Nick Saban with what he said, and the power of Alabama. They would have put Georgia in if they could, but they really couldn't. But they were putting an SEC team in. No matter what, they were putting an SEC team in. And Topmeyer writes about it. He says, the playoff committee serves at the pleasure of Greg Sankey. The SEC boss is college football's ruler. There were only ever 3 spots available in this tournament. One was reserved for Sankey and his designation. And that is the truth. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. They bow to this guy. And yes, I understand. People are going to say, well, Alabama makes for a better matchup against Michigan. Look how well they're playing. I understand that. But what are we doing here? We're pulling out a crystal ball and just assuming what the great matchups would be. They don't do that in any other sport.
I said it before, it would be weird not to have the SEC in this playoff because of the way they have dominated the playoff through the years. But strange things can happen. And in this situation, to me, they should have been left out. It is what it is. There were 4 other teams that did more, in my opinion, to get into the playoff. And the other thing, the people that argue about for Alabama and how much greater they completely ignore the Auburn game. It's a big rivalry game. Those games are so hard to win. Well, you know what Florida State did? They went and won a big rivalry game on the road with the backup quarterback, who is going to be the one playing in the playoff for them. It just.
Right.
I don't know.
They ignore what they want to ignore, and they. And
the thing is, it's tough for people that want to say there is not any sort of conspiracy in these cases. When, for instance, ESPN has a massive, massive investment in the SEC starting next year, basically taking over everything. But they've always had a big investment. Now it's even a bigger investment in the SEC. And ESPN carries the playoffs, everything else. It's hard to not believe there is some sort of thing when, again, a team and a Power 5 conference goes undefeated with 2 Power 5 opponents in their non-conference. What more could Florida State have done scheduling-wise? You can't do more scheduling-wise. So literally, it was set that no matter what Florida State did this year, they were not going to make the playoffs simply because their quarterback got hurt in a game. I don't see why you penalize that much for an injury. It's just, I don't know.
That poor guy has to have an inferiority complex with the statement that he made that you alluded to earlier. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
and they're getting back a quarterback who is actually pretty good.
You're literally, you have been told that, hey, dude, you're breaking your leg. Yep, cost your team the playoff.
Right, right. You just cost the team the playoff.
And what Mike Norvell said,
I'm going to read that.
So are you not supposed to play guy? That was a game against North Alabama. They didn't have to play Jordan Travis at all, but they do. So are you, now in these games, do you have to sit somebody because, God forbid, they get hurt and now you can't go to the playoff? I don't know. It just, to me, it sends all kinds of wrong messages here.
Oh, hell yeah.
In the end, to me, it's very simple for the committee if you just come out and say, listen, the Power 5 conference team, they beat 2 SEC teams in their non-conference. They went undefeated, injury or not. And again, the thing, they've had one game to judge what the Florida State team is that would actually be playing in the playoff. And that's with Rodemaker at quarterback. They have one game to judge them by. That was a win in a big rivalry game.
Hostile environment.
On the road, and they won the game. The same weekend that Alabama struggled mightily and took a miracle to beat an Auburn team that went 6-6. So I don't understand why you could just all of a sudden say Alabama is so much better than Florida State.
Right. This isn't a discussion between an unbeaten Alabama and an unbeaten Florida State, where I would say, okay, I understand why you're taking Alabama. But again, this is, well, we think Alabama matches up better. We think they'll give Michigan a better game. This is all pulling out your crystal ball crap. You got to go with what has been determined on the field. This is Florida State in the ACC. Again, this isn't a group of 5 team trying to get in the way UCF was handled years ago. This is ridiculous. Here's what Norvell had to say. I am disgusted and infuriated with the committee's decision today to have what was earned on the field taken away because a small group of people decided they knew better than the results of the games. What is the point of playing games? Do you tell players it is okay to quit if someone goes down? Do you not play a senior on senior day for fear of injury? Where is the motivation to schedule challenging non-conference games? We are not only an undefeated P5 conference champion, but we also played 2 P5 non-conference games away from home and won both of them. I don't understand how we are supposed to think this is an acceptable way to evaluate a team. I'm hurting for our players who have displayed a tremendous amount of resilience and response this season. What happened today goes against everything that is true and right in college football. A team that overcame tremendous adversity and found a way to win doing whatever it took on the field was cheated today. It's a sad day for college football, on and on. The AD, Mike Alford, what he had to say, and maybe if we have time, I'll get to that a little bit later on. That should be on a wall somewhere. Absolutely tremendous. I understand there were 5 legitimate teams and a few others that weren't too shabby that were fighting for 4 spots. But it doesn't make sense when you go against precedent. Last year, they didn't go with the best team, at least in their crystal ball, or they wouldn't have put TCU in there. TCU earned their way in there. They put them in there. It's inconsistent. The only thing I could see, and I'm sorry, again, I will argue against everybody that says, well, wait till Georgia plays Florida State and they're going to clobber. It doesn't even matter. Nobody even cares now about that bowl game. They don't care. Florida State's got to be so disappointed. They can't get up for that game. And Georgia thinks they should have gotten in. They had their opportunity. And you could even argue that one. But the argument really came down to Florida State and Alabama. And Florida State was an undefeated conference champion team. And it's a bunch of BS. I'm sorry. All right. When we come back, if you want to chime in, love to hear from you. 360-8255. You can call in. You can text it. 901-360-8255. Lawn Solutions is a locally owned weed control fertilization company that serves the greater Memphis area. Brandon Holly, the owner of this company, is a great guy, and he's got a team of professionals ready to take care of your lawn today. Just give him a call at 901-867-5626 or go online to lawnsolutionsinc.net. Locally owned, family operated. They kill those weeds. They get you ready for spring. When spring is sprung, beautiful grass, you don't want those weeds. And what they do is they take care of that all year long. Right now, they're controlling the germination of weeds by applying what they call pre-emergence. And they do that during the spring and summer with post-emergence. So when, again, spring is sprung, the grass starts, the trees are blooming, everything, the flowers, everything looks nice. Your lawn is not full of weeds because they've already done the treatment. They can take care of any disease your lawn has or any insect infestation. So give them a call today, 901-867-5626, or go online to lawnsolutionsinc.net. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I know we say it all the time. Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown bar, is not a sports bar. It's a bar that happens to have sports on the high-def TVs. You know what a great bar Bell Tavern is. You know how great the signature cocktails are. You know how amazing the food is. And all that is what makes Bell Tavern such a great bar. But what sports we have on those TVs this month? If you love college basketball, the NFL, the Grizzlies, and college football, well, for this month, you can pretend Bell Tavern is a sports bar. A very civilized sports bar.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
How's the Christmas shopping going? Yeah, that's what I thought. But Frontier Western Store will make it a lot easier. Everyone loves something from Frontier. They have thousands of coats, shirts, and boots. Outfit the entire family today. Looking for a Carhartt beanie? Frontier has every color they make. You'll find a whole wagon full of beanies. You'll also run into the largest selection anywhere of in-stock Carhartt and Ariat jackets and coats. They have endless aisles, an astounding collection at amazing prices. Don't forget the boots, work boots, and dress boots from Rocky, Dan Post, and especially Ariat. Frontier is the place to shop for name brand boots at the lowest prices every day. Way lower than chain stores and online. Thousands of boots in all sizes for men, women, and children. Not sure what to get? Frontier gift cards are always the right size, color, and price. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or shop online 24/7 at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South sports station.
Sports 56 traffic.
Very slow go out in Haywood County on 40 eastbound at the 47-mile mark. If you're headed towards Jackson, Tennessee, towards Nashville, give yourself extra time. It's really slow there through that county on I-40 going eastbound at the 47-mile marker. Starting to load up pretty good now on 385 Billmore's Parkway coming inbound towards 240. Don't miss it this holiday season. Enchanted Garden of Lights at Rock City in Chattanooga. Log on to CRockCity.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
This hour is indeed brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware, corner of White Station and Quince is where you'll find them. Great Christmas gift ideas all over the place. If you've got things you need to get done around the house for the holidays, they certainly got that. Decorations and all those things, too. They've got those for you. At East Memphis Ace Hardware, corner of White Station and Quincy. They also have a great staff over there to help you find whatever it is that you are looking for. They can help you. And if you, for whatever reason, don't have maybe something exactly what you're looking for in store, they can get it for you very, very quickly. Check them out. East Memphis Ace Hardware, corner of White Station and Quince.
All right, let's go to the Sports 56 listener lines. Mike is dialed in. Hello, Mike. How are you?
Hey, well, how can you Yankees say that the Southeastern Conference doesn't deserve a team in those playoffs? Just like you'd probably tell me that the North won the Civil War. And we're not having any of that.
Very good, Mike.
One thing, if you check out what conferences these four teams are going to, they'll tell you what's coming. It's the P2, baby.
I saw that.
And
You're
you
right.
better bring long green and television sets to stay.
Thank you, Mike. Good call.
Well, listen, I mean, Florida State, maybe today or yesterday started looking to get how to grant a right to the ACC, because it's again, what if this is what you get for going undefeated and winning the ACC, then you've got to get out of the ACC. Like it does you no good to be there.
Michigan versus Alabama in the Rose Bowl. That is Big Ten versus SEC. And then you look at the Sugar Bowl. You got Washington moving into the Big Ten versus Texas moving into the SEC. So really, in essence, two SECs, two Big Tens. Kenny is next. Hi, Kenny.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
You know, growing up in the 70s, I always looked at sports as kind of the way where people can come together and you can cheer for the same team, cheer for different teams, and afterwards, you know, at least it was settled on the field or on the court. It was not going to be a political decision. That's what sports has turned into now. We eye test. The eye test doesn't mean anything in sports. The game has to be played. How many times can you think of games where we knew, so-and-so is going to beat the crap out of so-and-so, and then the other team wins? And that's all based on the eye test. I feel sorry for Mike Norvell and these players. Some of these guys are seniors. This is it for their college career. They're going to have to live with this, that we did everything that an athlete can do, and yet we were denied. And it's historic because it's never happened before where a Power 5 team goes undefeated, and they beat two teams from the so-called Power Conference, the SEC.
Yeah, Power 5 undefeated conference champion. Never has happened.
And still, it's not enough. It's not enough. And your previous caller hit it. We're down to two conferences. This is why Florida State, I understand why the president now, they saw this coming. You better get into the SEC or the Big Ten. Even with 12 schools, those two conferences will probably put 10 teams in them. And then they'll pick two from somewhere else. Trust me, this is about money.
Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate it. Good call. We're up to what, 16 now next year? It'll be 16 in the Big Ten and 16 in the SEC, correct? On the way to 20.
Well,
By the way,
if you just look at what the way the rankings ended this year, if it was a 12-team playoff based on the new conferences, you would have had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Big Tens, and you would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SECs.
Yeah.
You would have had, the only things you would have had would have been Florida State and Liberty would have been the only two non-SEC or Big Ten.
And then right behind arguing to get in, who was it? Who was right behind?
Well, that would be Oklahoma.
Again?
Would be the first one left out.
Going to the SEC.
LSU would be right behind them.
In the SEC. Yeah, it's crazy. By the way, I agree with everything he said, with the exception of it's not just sports, because, I mean, it's not all sports. College football. NCAA tournament is, we get a winner on the court. They play it out. There's a 68-team field. We have NBA playoffs. We have NFL playoffs. We have NHL playoffs. We have Major League Baseball playoffs. It's determined on the field, on the court, on the ice. But in college football, while, yes, technically now with a playoff, we determine it on the field, but to get to that point, it's all political. Greg is next. Hi, Greg. Greg, you there?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm going to keep this short.
First of all, I like to say my heart goes out to Mike Norvell, man. I am really hurting for this guy. I've been pulling for him all year. I've been pulling for him ever since he went to Florida State. First, I thought it was the worst job for him to take, but he's done miraculous things at Florida State, and they don't deserve this. But just like Kirby Smart said, the committee told him that it wasn't the four most deserving teams. It was the four best teams. And as sad as that statement is, it's somewhat true. Without that quarterback, they was not one of the four best teams in America.
Well, let me ask you this, Greg. Let me ask you this, though. Don't you think Georgia is still one of the four best teams?
Yeah, I think Georgia is one of the four best teams. But by Alabama beating.
Yeah, they beat them, and Florida State beat everybody. That's the point. Point.
Look at it like this. Why is Texas there?
Texas beat Alabama because if they were putting Alabama in, they absolutely had to put Texas in. Look, it's all politics, right? They knew that.
Well, yeah, it's the four best teams, and Georgia is one of the four. Kirby Smart has a gripe.
I don't know right now if I don't think Ohio State could beat Washington. Ohio State could win a rematch with Michigan. Maybe I do. Maybe I think Georgia would be one of the top four. In fact, I actually do. But I can't put them in there because I have to put the four most deserving. I can't put the four who I think is best. There's 13 people behind those closed doors deciding who they think is the best. And that's what Norvell said. That we did it on the field, for goodness sakes, and we're denied. So
next year should fix that. I know you don't want to hear that.
Well, thank you, Greg. Appreciate it.
The thing is, and that's like, and if they think Alabama's better than Florida State because Florida State is such a drop-off without Jordan Travis, then why is Florida State still ranked ahead of Georgia and Ohio State? Like, you don't think those two teams are better than Florida State?
Right.
You think you think Alabama's just better than them, but those other teams aren't. Well, that doesn't make sense. Or does after the top four it stops being the four best, then from five on becomes the best deserving, most deserving? If you think they're worse than Alabama, they're worse than Georgia.
Who do you guys think wins a game between SMU and Liberty? Now, I'm not saying Liberty can't win, but SMU would be the favorite. SMU finished behind Liberty, which I have no problem. Liberty went 13-0. They had the worst strength of schedule of every team in the FBS. The worst, but they went 13-0. They gave it to Liberty. They're in the Fiesta Bowl. They didn't pop SMU ahead, even though SMU went into New Orleans and beat Tulane. They didn't do it because Liberty went undefeated, and if SMU had one loss, maybe they get the nod, but they didn't have one loss. So they gave it to them because of what they did on the field. But they changed their minds when it came to Florida State, just like it was different last year with TCU.
Drew texts in, says if Mike Norvell was going to go undefeated and be left out of the playoff, he could have stayed here. That is true.
He's a lot richer, but
Patrick texts in, says, honest question, if the season had played out exactly the same across the board, except Dion was the Florida State coach, would they have gotten in?
Yes.
I think they probably would have.
Because of the stories, because of the heightened publicity, because of the ratings,
it's good TV.
Because of the money. Yes, it's all political.
I think you are probably correct, Patrick, in your. I assume you believe that they would have gotten in, and I would say you are probably correct in that because of that name, the idea that it's great television, great stories, all that stuff, yes, they probably do get in. David says, we'll never get full transparency, but at least be consistent. Florida State deserved that spot, even though right now they aren't one of the four best teams. You want to tell me Georgia isn't one of the four best teams?
Right.
Yes, they blew the opportunity, but to have them in as number one and they lose by 3 on a neutral site to Alabama and they drop to 6, there's holes in every argument.
You might as well take 13 dudes from those big castles out in Las Vegas that make the odds for games and put those 13 people in a room as opposed to the 13 they have in there now. Because that's what it is. They're looking at what the odds would be for certain matchups, and they're trying to put the best matchups together. That's what they're trying to do.
See, my other question to it, if Rodemaker had been able to play and they beat Louisville by 20 and he throws for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns, do they get in?
Right, that's the discussion. That's so stupid, but you're right. That's part of the discussion.
They're judging, everybody's judging Florida State by the performance against Louisville, that their offense didn't do anything. But that's not their quarterback for the playoff.
Right.
It's a different quarterback for the playoff. Well, it would be like if Jordan Travis was, it's not the same thing, but like if Jordan Travis, if they had said, if it wasn't as serious an injury, and the whole thing was, Jordan Travis, we expect him to be back for the playoff. Do they get in?
Right. That's
like,
you're right.
You're saying
well, that's why Canal tweeted out and said we should hit the injury.
We're going to believe that he's not going to be good enough to play, so we're going to still leave you out.
You think it's bad right now with transparency as far as coaches are concerned with injuries? Wait till next year after what happened to Florida State. And oh, by the way, J.J. McCarthy didn't throw for anything against Iowa. I know Iowa's got a really good defense, and I know Michigan deserves to be in. They're an undefeated conference champion. How about that? And they're in. They deserve to be in. But they didn't do anything offensively. They were able to get a touchdown off a punt return that got them in great field position. They recovered a fumble. Iowa played their normal great defense. And if they had any semblance of offense, maybe it would have been a close game. But they're not penalized for that. Just like you said, Alabama wasn't penalized for having to convert a 4th and goal from the 31 to beat Auburn. An Auburn team that the week prior got beat by what? 3 touchdowns by New Mexico State? There's no rhyme or reason. I want to play this clip. This is the late, great Mike Leach. From when was it, Zach? How long ago? 2017. This is him talking about the College Football Playoff Committee.
We're American. We love committees. Let's get us a committee. Well, who should be on the committee? Well, I don't know. This guy's a good guy. Let's have him on the committee. Well, there's people on the committee that don't even have remote associations with football, nor have they at any level other than being a fan. But you know what? Let's have them on a committee. Why not? And then we'll decide which 4 teams should go. Because you know why? We don't need to solve this on the field. Because we're the ones that know. And then, if we're going to do it that way, we should just ask them at the beginning of the season, just go ahead and you guys vote on it, figure out 1, 2, 3, and 4, and why even have the games? How can you call it a playoff when there's 4 teams? Conference champions don't even necessarily make the playoffs, because you know why? Because the committee knew better.
What a prophet, first of all, as it came to fruition finally here in 2023. But he's right. Might as well go ahead and figure out who the 4 best are at the beginning of the year and just stay with that.
When Florida State took the field Saturday night, they were done. They were playing dead.
They were playing dead.
They had no chance, according to the committee. Maybe if they beat Louisville 50-0 and Brock Glenn goes crazy, even though again he's not going to be the one playing in the playoff, does that get him in? It just doesn't.
By the way,
they took the field for a conference championship game with an undefeated record. Having the ACC was done, they had no chance. You guys are not in the playoff no matter what you do tonight. But hey, have fun playing your football game.
They've already screwed with the head of Jordan Travis, who, by the way, put together an eloquent response on Twitter. Unbelievable, this young man, right? You already give him an inferiority complex. How about Brock Glenn? Like Brock Glenn, if he puts together a big game throwing passes all over the place in his first ever collegiate start, maybe they get the call. You know what? I don't think they do. You know why? Goes back to what I said at the beginning. It's the SEC. It's Greg Sankey, the most powerful man in collegiate sports. They were not being denied. Let me squeeze in one more call before the break. Mean Gene, how are you, my friend?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good.
It's a travesty for Florida State, and for Georgia to be dominating the last 2 years and come back and lose one game in the SEC championship and not have an opportunity to play for a title, that's crazy. So, in my opinion, no one ever beat them for the championship. No one ever beat them. They should be able to defend their national title. And another thing, it should be Texas and Alabama playing instead of Michigan playing Alabama. I think that's a Jim Harbaugh thing that they're trying to stick it to him as well. But don't worry about it. Michigan's going to take care of business. I guarantee you that.
Thank you, Gene. Appreciate it, my friend. We'll see. Real quick note, Ohio State will not have Kyle McCord back. He has hit the transfer portal. Today's the official opening of the portal, and it's going to be absolutely chaotic.
Yeah, I would guess that just about every quarterback in America that has eligibility left will go through the portal in some way. They may come back out where they are. They may stay where they are. But again, you pretty much owe it to yourself to see what is out there money-wise.
We will continue this conversation. More of your calls and texts. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Memphis, home of the blues, world-renowned barbecue, and award-winning craft beers. Now you can take a dive into these great libations with City Brew Tours Memphis. City Brew Tours Memphis offers a craft beer adventure with behind-the-scenes access to local breweries. See for yourself how craft beer is made, learn about different styles of beer, delve into beer history, and discover the secrets behind the Memphis brews. Best of all, with City Brew Tours, you will take your taste buds on a journey with beer tastings at each brewery stop, complemented by local snacks to munch on. City Brew Tours handles transportation to the breweries, too. You drink, they drive. Looking for the perfect gift idea this holiday season? Treat your loved ones to an unforgettable experience. A local craft beer tour with City Brew Tours Memphis. Head over to citybrewtours.com/Memphis and brew up your craft beer adventure today.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers Stay Hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. I like putting parlay bets together, hammering the overs, and anytime player touchdown bets always have me on the edge of my seat. So if you're ready to do the same, visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus in President, Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. It expires 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
While interest rates are on the rise everywhere else, at Genesis Diamonds, we've got just the relief you need this holiday season. 5 years, 0 interest on anything and everything. That's right. Genesis is rolling back interest rates to 0.0%. So that $5,000 diamond ring is yours for just $85 a month. Nothing's held back. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, certified natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, even luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Just pick any item for that special someone and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. A $10,000 designer ring comes to just $167 a month. Don't miss this incredible offer. Where else in America can you get financing for 0%? Colored gemstones, designer fashion jewelry, the year's most treasured gifts, all included in this once-a-year offer. At Genesis, we're breaking all the rules to make sure this holiday season your money goes farther. Best prices, unbeatable selection, highest quality, and super aggressive financing. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended on approved credit.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a little change in my pocket going jingle-lang-a-lang.
I guess it's only appropriate that the University of Memphis is playing in that final game before the renovations begin, as they have been selected to play in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game, a rematch of the 2017 game against Iowa State. And again, the presumption is that pretty much right after that game, maybe not that second, but soon after, the renovations will begin at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, and Memphis gets to play in that final game.
Raider Corey texts in, says, I don't want to hear about scheduling out-of-conference games anymore. I'm sure the next year that the 12th team will get passed over for an SEC team, and I'm sick of looking at a miserable-looking Saban. Such a travesty. Yeah, Florida State really played a dumb schedule. I mean, to play two SEC games in your non-conference is really dumb, because in theory, the whole thing is to go undefeated. Like, you want to make sure you're undefeated, because the thought was you go undefeated, you're getting in a Power 5 conference. Now that's been proven wrong, but they actually played the schedule with they're going to play Florida. They throw in LSU in the neutral site game. They win that one as well.
Yeah, it's dumb if they lose, but they won.
And now it ends up still not paying off for them, even with those two games of the non-conference, basically, playing 11 or 10 Power 5 conference opponents. And going undefeated isn't enough.
They may want to take Memphis off that schedule next year, because you don't want to get that L early. You got no chance if that happens. Joe is dialed in at 360-8255. Hey, Joe.
Hey, guys. Something I just thought about. One, FSU gets screwed. I think it has to be about resume, because here's what they could have done. And Mike Norvell is way too classy for this. They could have had Jordan out there sitting, not wearing, big baggy sweatpants. Said, you know what, Jordan and Travis is expected to make a full recovery by mid-December.
Right, could have lied.
And that would have prevented the committee from trying to use that as reasoning. And now, because you've done this and set a precedent, you've incentivized teams to lie about injury extent going forward. Mm-hmm. And then they could have, after the committee rankings or in mid-December, said, you know what, he suffered a setback. Looks like he's not going to be available. Obviously, there's some parallels here to what happened, I guess it was 23 years ago at the Pyramid when Kenyon Martin went down. If I remember right, they got dropped to like a 2 seed. Now, it's a lot different in college basketball, but if college basketball back then had a CFP, it would have been, equivalent. It would have been interesting to see what they would have done with Cincinnati back in 2000, because obviously they went from being a team that I think likely would have won a national championship to, it's been a long time. I want to say Bill Self and Tulsa nipped them in the second round or something like that. Like, they were not the same team.
Right, but at least there's 64 teams, and you still get in the field and you get a chance to play, whereas Florida State doesn't get a chance.
They went out and hammered LSU, and Alabama struggled with them. Like, the games you played have to matter, and then you just deal with it later.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joe. You're right on.
Well, the thing, and again, and that's why I said to start the show, like this, you could certainly, this encourages even more secrecy from college coaches, which we don't need as far as injuries are concerned. Now, the Jordan Travis injury is different because, like, everybody saw it and everybody knew that dude, like, he wasn't playing again this season because it was a grotesque injury. But what if Jalen Milroe had suffered an ankle injury in this game, but it wasn't that serious, but we didn't know. Like, you just don't know. It happens the day before you have to make these decisions, and you don't have any report on the injury. Mm-hmm. How are you determining those things? You're just going in there and assuming he can play, or are you assuming he can't play? Like, bringing the injury equation into it, I think, is going an awful long way. Again, because
it's a slippery slope. That's what it is.
One game to judge 12 next year. The quarterback they would be playing in the playoff. And that was a win on the road in a rivalry game. I wouldn't be holding that against them that much. Yes, I agree. Is Jordan Travis a great player? Is he better than Rodemaker? Yes, all those things are true. But yet, when Rodemaker played, they won the one game on the road at an SEC opponent.
FSU AD Mike Alford, he eviscerated the committee with a scathing statement on X. I'm going to read some of it. The consequences of giving into a narrative of the moment are destructive, far-reaching, and permanent, not just for Florida State, but college football as a whole. The argument of whether a team is the most deserving or best is a false equivalence. It renders the season up to yesterday irrelevant and significantly damages the legitimacy of the college football playoff. The 2023 Florida State Seminoles are the epitome of a total team. To eliminate them from a chance to compete for a national championship is an unwarranted injustice that shows complete disregard and disrespect for their performance and accomplishments. It is unforgivable. It goes on and on and on. It is fantastic. It is absolutely. And you know what? Greg Sankey's probably laughing in his office right now and sitting behind his desk. And Nick Saban, hey, it is what it is. Remember when Jalen Milroe was benched earlier in the season? I give him a lot of credit to be able to do what he did as Alabama went into Atlanta and beat Georgia. And I can understand. Georgia saying, hey, come on. We lost one game in 3 years, and we're not in the 14 playoff. Even Ohio State, which wasn't even in the conversation, lost one game, close game in the big house. Somebody had to be left out, but all those teams had something in common. Right after Georgia lost, they all had something in common. Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, they all lost.
Got some more text to get to. If you want to chime in, you can. 901-360-8255. 901-360-8255. The Sports 56 listener line.
Also, when we come back, should the Memphis Tigers be the favorite to win the American Conference next season? With everything that transpired, you may have missed some of it over the weekend. We'll get into that as well. Town Village Audubon Park, 950 Cherry Road, just off Park Avenue. Is senior living in today's world? All they ask is that you're 55 years of age or older, offering more options to fit your needs more than ever before. They are dedicated to the long-term satisfaction and the quality of life for their residents. Give them a call, set up a tour at 901-537-0002, or go online to townvillageaudubonpark.com. Independent living, short-term respite stay available, monthly options as well. Everything you need to continue to enjoy life to its fullest. Basic services include monthly rental with no buy-in. Apartments include full kitchen, washer, and dryer. All-inclusive resort-style dining with multiple venues, outpatient therapy, a community social area, which includes fitness center, home theater, game rooms, indoor pool, whirlpool, bistro, on and on and on. It's Town Village Audubon Park for your future, for the future of a loved one. 950 Cherry Road, just off Park Avenue in the heart of East Memphis. 901-537-0002, or look them up online at townvillageaudubonpark.com. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey friends, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's now time to get serious about Christmas shopping for your special lady. As we celebrate our 38th Christmas at Russell Brothers this year, we've gathered the most stunning collection of beautiful diamonds and gemstones that you can possibly imagine. Exquisitely designed and crafted with the finest workmanship, our array of rings and bracelets, pendants and earrings will dazzle your lady and will give her the message very clearly how much you care about her. You care enough to give her the best. If you've never been to Russell Brothers, we invite you to join our many customers and see what a difference personal attention can make. Drive right to our front door. Come on in and be a part of our 38th Christmas, and let us show you what value, quality, service, and selection can look like as you choose a piece for her that will make you the very best Santa Claus ever. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Are you wearing a hat that says meat?
Yep, it's the final piece of my collection.
Your collection of meat hats?
My collection of Central Barbecue merchandise.
Oh, okay, I've noticed you have a few Central Barbecue t-shirts.
A few. I've got a lot of Central Barbecue t-shirts. In fact, I have them all.
How many are there?
Well, let's see. There's 11 of the basic t-shirts.
11?
And like all other cool Central Barbecue merch, they're available at eatcbq.com.
Did you just use the word merch in conversation?
Not just any merch. CBQ merch. Hats, t-shirts, cups, even kids and baby clothes for when the little me comes along. That kid's going to love Central Barbecue because they have such great
merch.
Ribs. East Memphis Ace Hardware is more than just a hardware store. It's really a customer service store. With 20 employees along with complete inventory of items, big to little, finding what you need is easy. Choosing from a complete selection of Big Green Egg as well as Traeger and Weber grills. And the Garden Center has everything for your yard. You can get glass cut, repair screens, even new keys with key fob programming. Tools, nuts, bolts, screws, you need it. East Memphis Ace Hardware has it. And they're just down the street at the corner of Quince and White Station.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. That earlier wreck really jammed it up on 40 going westbound right there at the 240 flyover between Abilene and Witten Road. It's running pretty slow at times there on 40 going westbound as they clean up that accident. It's heavy traffic still, but it's moving here on Bill Morris Parkway as you get on that ramp to 240, starting to build up to Midtown on 240 up by Lamar. Don't miss it this year, the Enchanted Garden of Lights at Rock City in Chattanooga. Check them out at crockcity.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:03 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Monday, December 4th, 2023 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. The Family Leisure Christmas sale continues at 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Currently sunny and 48 degrees as you get your Monday morning going. We're going to have some sunshine and clouds mixed today with a high of 53. Yesterday got up to 60. Tonight a few clouds with a low of 38, and then tomorrow generally sunny with a high of 59 degrees. Second hour of the program is brought to you by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Christmas is on the way, and I can guarantee you will find something for a loved one at James Gaddis Jewelers, whether it be any of their beautiful rings or watches, bracelets, necklaces, earrings, pendants, plus their estate and vintage jewelry. It's one of a kind. It's James Gaddis Jewelers, and every Monday and Friday they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know? Houston High School, congratulations to the Mustangs. They defeated Oakland Friday night 24-9 in Chattanooga to win the Tennessee Class 6A football title. They become just the third team from the Memphis area to win it all in 6A. White Station and Whitehaven doing it twice. So White Station, Whitehaven, and now Houston High School. Congratulations to the Mustangs. What an accomplishment.
Yeah, outstanding season for them. Great performance in that championship game. Kudos to them. Outstanding. Great year.
We're going to get back to your calls and texts and talk some Tigers specifically in just a moment. Barrett Salee at 8:25. Did get a text from my buddy Lamar. He said a couple of things. First of all, Big Ten will be 18. That's right, 18 next year. So Big Ten goes to 18. SEC goes to 16, correct?
Yes.
So we are, do the math, 6 away from having 20 and 20 in the Big Two. I still don't think it'll be a complete 2-league breakaway. I still think in the end it'll be 4 20-team leagues, like Jackie Sherrill once said, but We shall see. He said, you guys are forgetting, and I'm not forgetting, the NCAA college football competition clause when selecting teams. They have to factor in major injuries. No, I do not forget that. But here's the thing. By the way, Michigan just lost one of their key offensive linemen. He's out for the year. But he's an offensive lineman, right? He doesn't count. He's only protecting the quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. But he doesn't count, right? It's only about the quarterback. Let's be honest. It's only about the quarterback. And the thing is, this quarterback that they have coming in who played against Florida and won in the Swamp is their quarterback. He's recruited to Florida State because he's damn good. Brock Glenn is a young man from Lausanne who did the best he could in his first collegiate start, and I'm sure he's got brighter moments to come down the road. He helped win the game. I mean, he won the game. He didn't put up any numbers. But Rodemaker is a player who is highly talented, and that's who they're going to have. Yeah, they won't have Jordan Travis. But are you telling me if J.J. McCarthy got hurt in that game against Iowa in the Big Ten Championship, that Michigan wouldn't be in the playoff? Are you telling me if Michael Penix went down and Washington still beat Oregon the way they did? By the way, good job, all you prognosticators out there, with the exception of Brandon Lang, Eli Savoy, and myself. Do you think Washington wouldn't be in the playoff? No, they would be in the playoff because they deserve a spot in the playoff. Florida State deserves a spot in the playoff. I'm sorry. They weren't going to deny Michigan a spot in the playoff as much as they hate Jim Harbaugh.
Another texter says the Noles' horrible offense with a third-string true freshman making his first start outgained Michigan with a third-year CFP starter. They would have been 1-4 seeds. It would have been a fair fight, a rock fight, but a fair fight. Now Michigan's going against Iowa's defense, and Iowa's defense is good, and they didn't have to do anything. It told you Iowa wouldn't score. It was just whether Michigan could get to 24. That's how you handicap that game. Iowa's not going to score. Do you think Michigan could score 24 points? If you do, you take Michigan all day long.
My over-under was 3, and people thought I was joking when I put that up there. I said, no, I'm being serious, and it went under.
The Iowa's offense is terrible. But the thing is, again, we don't know. Last year, people thought Michigan was going to beat TCU.
Right.
Because TCU just lost the Big 12 championship game, and it was like, oh, this is a mismatch. Michigan's going to beat these guys. Well, guess what happened? TCU won.
You know how many blowouts
TCU got blown out in the championship game.
Right.
That doesn't take anything from people are like, well, they don't want another TCU. TCU won a playoff game. Like, what do you mean they don't want another TCU? They won the playoff game. They earned their right into the championship game, and then they got blown out. So what?
Put the teams in that earned it, okay? You don't know what the future is going to be, okay? If that committee knew that, then maybe we'd all be billionaires. For goodness sakes, man, we've had so many blowouts, especially in national semifinal games. Let me go back to the Sports 56 listener lines. Midtown Mike wants to chime in. Mike, how are you?
I'm cranky and angry, fellows, and thanks for the grievance line this morning because it's an absolute disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace what happened to the Noles. Bama's got a great resume. I still think the Noles should have got in. Bama's got a great resume. But to follow up on your point you just made, how is Michigan in? How is Michigan just, consensus number one? Michigan goes out of conference and plays ECU, last place in the American. They play Bowling Green, and they play UNLV, who had a surprising year. But come on, that's not going out of conference to play Florida and LSU.
No.
And in the Big Ten, Michigan plays 6 of their 9 conference games against teams with a losing record, okay? Florida State has 11 Power 5 wins. They played more bowl games more bowl opponents than anybody in America, and it's just obvious that what they did is they said, we're going to pick the bigger brand, period. And the fact that Florida State, which has been a team that's won 2 or 3 national championships in the last 30 years, played for a couple others and lost, is like just cast aside. It's, I think, one of the things that's most shocking because they were pushed aside for Alabama and Michigan as bigger brands. But Michigan has the weaker resume out of all 3 of them. I mean, Michigan is the team that's got the 1,000 wins, and they're the most historic, but not on the field this year. And just like Eli was just saying, they got outgained in championship weekend by everybody talking about Florida State's province. It's just a shame.
But
I'm glad we're going to turn the page and get to real football this weekend with the back-to-back World War champs facing off in a game that's finally an honest brokering of college football. Go Army, beat Navy.
Thank you, Mike.
And Mike, by the way, you also
sorry.
forgot on Michigan. They also blatantly cheated this year.
Yeah.
we forget about it. They also, the number one team blatantly cheated.
Yeah, forget about the cheating, but that's a good point. Forget about the cheating for a second. Again, I go back to my point. If J.J. McCarthy got injured in that game, and we knew it was a gruesome injury, do you think Michigan would have been denied a spot? No, they wouldn't. Even with what Mike just said about their total resume, they would not have been denied a spot. Here's the pecking order. Greg Sankey, number one, and anything that happens in the SEC. Nick Saban, number two, most powerful, and then you can get to the Big Ten. And then the rest are also rans. They treat Florida State, with all due respect to Liberty, they treat them like Liberty. And they actually were more respectful to Liberty by giving them a spot in the New Year's Six by going undefeated, whereas SMU had how many losses, 2 or 3? So they gave it to Liberty. Well, Florida State was treated like a redheaded stepchild, let's be honest.
The lessons learned from the 2023 college football season, God forbid we do something that, quote unquote, punishes the players when their program blatantly cheats. However, if your quarterback gets hurt, we can do whatever we want to the rest of the players. Who cares?
Right.
So don't get hurt. Whatever you do, don't get hurt. But cheat like crazy, because all that'll happen is your coach gets suspended for a few games. And you could be the number one team in America, having blatantly cheated, blatantly breaking the NCAA rules. But, man, don't take a hard hit and break your leg. Cost the rest of your team a chance at a playoff.
Yeah.
It's idiotic that this is the way that this is how they're determining things.
Yeah, and again, that poor guy's going to go the rest of his life going, oh, my God, my injury cost us. And again, Glenn's got to look at it and go, wow, if I did more for Florida State in our win, by the way, our double-digit win, by the way, our win where we allowed only 6 points to the number 14 team in the nation, if I had done more, maybe we would be in the playoff. So here we go with all these inferiority complexes.
Another text says, I am a Bama fan. If Travis didn't get hurt, I would say Florida State instead of Alabama. But without Travis, they are not one of the 4 best teams. Georgia will show that when they play them.
First of all, Florida State mentally is out of this thing, right? Who cares what happens in a meaningless bowl game, right? We're not talking about a playoff. Who cares? I hate when people try to match up now what's going to happen, but we don't even know which players are going to stay, which players are going to go in the portal, which players are going to leave for the NFL. So that's ridiculous, okay? And again, your point is right. Your point is right about the best. Right now, would I put Alabama as a favorite over Florida State? Yes, I would. But we're trying to make the argument that it shouldn't be who is perceived to be the 4 best. It should be who earned a spot as one of the 4 best. That's the argument here.
See, the thing with first of all, the Georgia-Florida thing, who cares? One, I guarantee you there's going to be guys that don't play.
I just said it, yeah.
Jared Verse, probably not. Keon Coleman, I don't know. I don't know if those guys will want to play. Brock Bowers, who knows who wants to play. If any of those guys are going to play their first-round draft picks, it would be stupid.
Can't judge it on that. That's ridiculous.
And it works out great for the SEC fans because if Georgia loses, they'll say, yeah, I mean, Georgia's played in the national championship game the last 2 years. They don't care about this bowl game. If they win, it's told you,
Florida State
SEC's
sucks.
better, and Florida State didn't deserve to be in the playoff out of Alabama. So who cares about that game? By the way, also on the kudos to my guy, Eli Drinkwitz, for his Connor Stallions.
Yeah.
Dude.
I came out of nowhere.
That was all. Eli Drinkwitz is great because he doesn't care what he says. Like he doesn't care what he says. At any time, he will say anything. That was so awesome.
See, Mike Leach would have done that.
Like that,
Mike Leach-esque.
Watch it. Like Reese Davis had no idea what to say. Like he's like, I don't even know how to react to this. If anybody did not see when Eli Drinkwitz was doing his interview with the folks on ESPN about Missouri's bowl game, at the end he said, guys, because they're playing Ohio State, guys, I got to go. Connor Stallions is beeping in right now, and I got to see about getting some signals. That's good stuff. That stole the day. Like, that honestly stole the day for him to do that.
All right, well, how about this? Did you have one more thing on that? Because I wanted to change topics here real quick.
I got some more texts to get.
Okay, go ahead and read those.
Wayne says legitimacy. You want to talk about legitimacy? College football has no legitimacy left after the greed took over, and now we have teams on both coasts in the same conference. I trace it back to everyone chasing the ESPN money. Come on, man.
Yeah,
legitimacy.
Wayne's right on.
There's nothing. I mean, the bottom line,
everything's out the window.
Money is completely doing it, and that's why the SEC and the Big Ten control it, because they control just about all of that money. There's still other money elsewhere, but the SEC and the Big Ten control most of the money. Somebody else, Dave says, if anything, Georgia cares less. FSU has a point to prove. Again, you can shape the argument either way that you want to. Like in that game, who cares about the results of that game? It isn't about the results of that game. It's about what was done to this point. And Florida State went undefeated to this point and was left out of the playoff. That's all that matters. Max says college football has just become figure skating, where judges decide with subjective points. Nothing about this was objective.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, I feel the committee's got a hard job.
Russian judge gave Florida State an 8-8. Are you kidding me?
The committee has a hard job. It is. I understand. Like they want to go in there and they want to try and set up the four. They want to set up the best playoff. Like that. They are tasked. They are told by the committee, the head of the committee, to your job is to get the four best teams. That becomes very hard. Like, I don't know how you judge the best teams without going by the results on the field.
Exactly.
So, to me, it's a semantics thing. But, there are some former coaches in there and things like that, I don't know. It is a very difficult job to do and try and figure out what does it mean by the four best teams.
You're trying to figure out, did Georgia just have a bad day? Or did Alabama have a bad day when they were playing at Auburn and had to pull it out of their you-know-what on a 4th and 31? You're judging now and you're trying to guess, did they just have an off day or what happened in those particular games? And that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Yes, you're trying to get great matchups. You're trying to get the four best, but through the resumes. So it has to be deserving. They have to be deserving if you're going to get to the four best. And when you have teams that have losses in Power 5 conferences and you're picking them over undefeated conference champions, I don't get it. I don't know what we're playing for.
Another text says, where does it say going undefeated makes you an automatic qualifier? If you're in a bad conference and go undefeated, that makes you in. FSU strength of schedule 55, Alabama 5, FSU 0 top 10 wins, Bama 2. Georgia will beat FSU by 30. Michigan a 1.5 point favorite over Alabama.
So the ACC now is not as bad conference.
Would be a 2 touchdown favorite over FSU, and this is from an Ole Miss fan.
That doesn't matter. That's not the point we're making here.
And if you go so the strength of schedule but the strength of record. All these analytics, the strength of record, Florida State is 3 and Alabama's 4. So you can, again, there's always things you can come up with to sort that out.
Florida State beat LSU, which probably has the Heisman Trophy winner. He'll probably win it on Saturday, Jaden Daniels. They went into the swamp. I know Florida's not the greatest team this year, but it's a rivalry game, and they won with their backup quarterback. What else are they supposed to do?
And they throw an ACC runner-up loss to Kentucky, who Alabama beat by 30. Okay, well, so let's do that then. Well, the Conference USA runner-up beat Auburn by like 30, who Alabama took a 4th and miracle to beat. So does that mean New Mexico State's better than Alabama?
Yeah, we could do that all day long.
That doesn't using that type
they're
of stuff.
They're talking like what we've been discussing, that it's the SEC and the Big Ten and everybody else. Well, really it's not. Right now, at least, it's not. The ACC is a power conference. They're not some also-ran. We're not talking about a MAC team right here. This is ridiculous. They beat them by 2 touchdowns. That's so friggin' stupid. And that's the whole point of this discussion. The hypotheticals. It shouldn't come down to hypotheticals. We have seen that before with the committee putting together matchups that have fallen apart. Blowouts after blowouts in conference, in the playoff semis or in the national championship game. Sometimes you can't predict the future. In fact, often you can't predict the future. You don't know. And don't put all this onus on the Georgia-Florida State bowl game that nobody cares about. Nobody's going to be into it. Players are going to not participate, more than likely. Some are going to opt out. Some are going to transfer. Some are going to go to the NFL. It's ridiculous. Don't start comparing that.
Another texter says, here's a major warning for the future of college football. Conference championship games are about to disappear. I disagree on that. Conference championships were added to give teams extra BCS points to get into the top 2. Now conference championships are a proven liability for injury, and winning ugly can drop you in the rankings. More decisions will be made for money that cost the fans. Weekends like this will be gone soon because there's no drama this time next year about who is number 13. Well,
no, I disagree because conference championships bring a lot of money in.
They're getting more important. One, and they bring in a ton of money, so they're not getting rid of those.
Yeah.
But two, with these massive conferences now, and the fact that teams you can't obviously play everybody in the conference, the conference championship games are becoming more important to try and decide that, because you could easily have 2 undefeated teams in conference play because they're not playing everybody. You got 18-team conferences, 16-team conferences. So you're going to need these conference championship games to decide who your actual conference champion is. And the top 4 seeds in that 12-team playoff is a lot different than the next 8 seeds of that thing. You have to know who your conference champion is.
And finally, next year, we already saw some of the conferences get rid of the divisions, right? You had the SEC getting rid of the divisions. You have the Big Ten getting rid of the divisions.
All of them are.
And so now you won't have, again, Michigan or Ohio State annually beating up on somebody from the West. Now, of course, you have the influx of the teams from the Pac-12, and it's going to be a lot different ballgame. Those championships are going to have more meaning now. I understand what the texter was saying, but no, they're not getting rid of the chance to make millions and millions of dollars for their respective conferences. All right, as I mentioned, Barrett Sallee is next, and then we're going to get into the topic of whether or not the Memphis Tigers, with everything that went down. Willie Fritz is now the head coach of Houston, and we did get the news from Seth Hennigan that he is coming back. Should Memphis be the favorite to win the American Conference next year? We'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. Hey, 'tis the season, right? We just had Thanksgiving, but Christmas and New Year's right around the corner, and nobody wants to cook, right? You want to either eat out if restaurants are available to you, or you want to dine in by having somebody cook for you. And Corky's can do just that. So it's time to pre-order. You can pre-order those delicious smoked whole turkeys and those spiral sliced honey glazed hams with all the fixins from Corky's. Just go online to corkysbbq.com. That's corkysbbq.com. Order your turkey. Order your ham for the holidays. The pickup dates are December 22nd through the 24th. In the meantime, for lunch or dinner, just stop by any of their 4 locations: Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch for that delicious slow-smoked barbecue. You can also reserve their private party room at the Cordova or Olive Branch locations. Just give them a call today. It's Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Dell's Cyber Monday event is their biggest sale of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. It's the perfect time to upgrade any home, business, or gaming setup powered by Intel Core processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Memphis' oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
Sports 56 traffic.
Well, wrecks in their clearing stages. Traffic remains heavy from an earlier crash on 40 westbound just past Sycamore View Road. It's busy, let's call it that, on Billmore Parkway, 385 getting on to 240 here up by Mount Moriah. Hey, don't miss it this year. Enchanted Garden of Lights at Rock City in Chattanooga. They're online at crockcity.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Barrett Sallee joins us in just a moment. Dabo Sweeney announcing that he has added offensive line coach Matt Luke. Matt Luke, of course, the former head coach at Ole Miss, and defensive end coach Chris Rumpf, both to the Clemson football staff. So there you go. Again, if you missed it, Willie Fritz has taken the Houston job as he leaves Tulane. So Tulane now in a situation where they're looking for a head coach. What does that mean for Michael Pratt? Also, you have with USTA, Frank Harris finally using his eligibility up. Even though Jeff Traylor's still there, at least right now, we'll see with these other head coaching openings and how much he's sought after. And then, of course, you have SMU leaving for the American, or leaving for the ACC from the American, which again puts Memphis in a pretty good position. We'll discuss that after we talk to Barrett. But with Seth Hennigan announcing that he's returning, kind of think that Memphis may be the favorite next year in the American Conference. It's time now to talk to Barrett Sallee.
It's time to talk some college football. Joining Greg and Eli is Barrett Sallee from CBSSports.com, CBS Sports HQ, and SiriusXM Radio. Here's Barrett Sallee with Greg and Eli.
Hey, he might be the busiest man in show business. He's Barrett Sallee. You can follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. Catch him every Monday talking college football with us. How are you, my friend?
Man, you wake up and Kyle McCord's in the portal. Dylan Gabriel's in the portal. I mean, it seems like the college football playoff selection show was like 3 months ago at this point.
Oh, gosh, that's crazy. I didn't even see Dylan Gabriel. I saw McCord.
Don't you think that pretty much every quarterback in America, like, you kind of owe it to yourself to get in there to see what the offers are and then make your decision?
Yes. I mean, essentially, think about it this way. If you're a player or a Major League Baseball player, anybody, wouldn't you like to be a free agent every single season if you're performing at a high level?
Yeah.
Like, it'd be incredible. And that's exactly what we have right now.
Yet we have here in Memphis a guy named Seth Hennigan who is about to set all the records, who is going to be the rarity, coming back for a fourth year, be a fourth-year starter for Memphis. But I digress. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But Barrett, right off the bat, let me ask you this, speaking of quarterbacks, before we dive into this controversy of the playoff. If J.J. McCarthy got hurt in the Big Ten game, the championship game against Iowa, are you going to tell me that Michigan wouldn't be in the playoff? Or if Michael Penix got hurt and Washington still beat Oregon, you're telling me Washington wouldn't be in the playoff? What do you think?
Well, they would be. And that's the double standard that exists within the rankings community.
Right.
I mean, you could make a case, guys, that Florida State has a better resume than Michigan. I disagree with it. But if you're going to talk about J.J. McCarthy, we're talking about a hypothetical situation. You're going to talk about J.J. Why would Michigan be above Florida State if the deciding factor is an injury to a star quarterback? You know, it's a double standard. I feel awful for Florida State. They literally did everything they could. They got the job done. I think I know folks will say it was a sloppy game. That defense for Florida State held a very potent Louisville team to 9 points, or 6 points, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
They're averaging 34 a game. 34 a game. They're up over and deep into the 400s in terms of total offense. They had under 200. Like, it wasn't a sloppy game. It was emphatic. And for the committee to just discount that and say, okay, they can't beat anybody, when I think it's abundantly clear that no matter what happens, Florida State's going to be in a game in the playoffs. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying it. They would make it a close game. And it's just sad, man. It's really sad. It's I think Florida State is very deserving. I think you could make a case that they deserve to be number 3 because wins matter. And by doing what they did, the committee is basically saying 10 games didn't matter. And I mean, why play them? And Mike Norvell was right. And the entire Florida State administration, Alford specifically, they're right. Why play? If this is how it's going to be, why play? And it's
Alfred's email, by the way, was incredible. One of the best things I've ever read.
It was awesome. And it goes back to something that I've been saying for a while, that if we're going to do this, use BCS standings. I'm not saying use the exact BCS formula, but make it something other than 12 people in a room. I mean, because they have inherent biases. We all have inherent biases.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to do it that way is just embarrassing. And unfortunately, it's going to stay this way. I would love for this to lead to some change and create some kind of other objective structure that does not include individuals who, like I said, have inherent biases, whether they want to admit it or not.
Going into yesterday, did you think this was going to be the result, or did you think they were going to put Florida State in?
I thought they were going to put Florida State in. Because, I mean, the craziest thing to me is that there are coaches on that committee. Like, there are coaches on that committee. And I thought that they would win out, or they would at least understand that you need to play football games to be in the national championship. If you win all your football games, you need to be in there. So I thought Florida State would be in. I thought it would be no contest. Honestly, I thought when you looked at Florida State and saw, I thought it'd be Florida State number 3, and the debate would be Texas and Alabama, and there's no debate there.
Right.
So I was stunned. I was stunned, and they got it wrong. And I think the retort from people that the two arguments I've heard are, well, Alabama has the best win in the country. Well, no, they don't. Texas does, because Texas beat Alabama. and Alabama beat Georgia. So Texas beat the SEC champion, and the SEC champion beat the team that had won 2 straight nationals. So Texas has the best win in the country. And then I hear this other thing, look, it's the SEC. The SEC is the toughest conference. No, it's not. I mean, we consider maybe it is the toughest conference, but it is by far and away not what it has been in years past. I mean, it just isn't. And for Alabama to run the table through all of its flaws, I think is a perfect indication that it is not what it used to be. So, I mean, I can't imagine any objective person thinking that Florida State doesn't deserve to be in. It just doesn't make sense to me.
You brought up the coaches on the committee, and then when they asked Boo about that, he talked about the coaches were their thing was like, who you'd rather, would I rather play this team or that team? But I'm with you. To me, if I'm a coach in there, like my thought is, dude, like they went undefeated. Like if I go undefeated, like if I've done everything I can possibly do, I should be in the playoff. Like what? I can't do any more than go undefeated against that schedule.
Well, and here's the thing, too, and this it's such a cop-out what he said. A, they've always said they never engineer matchups, which he basically said they engineered matchups, right? But then B, if that's going to be the company line, asking coaches, who do you want to play? Or who wouldn't you want to play? You're telling me that they would say they'd rather play Georgia over Florida State? They'd rather play Ohio State over Florida State? I mean, come on.
He also spoke out of his butt when it came down to Liberty and SMU. He said, well, all Liberty did was just keep winning. Well, that's all Florida State did.
That's all Florida State did.
I mean, it made no sense to me. Look, I understand that, and we have a lot of people calling in, texting in, going, well, if Georgia played, and they're going to play, Georgia's going to play Florida State, Georgia's going to be a heavy favorite, Georgia will beat them by 2 touchdowns. That, first of all, it doesn't matter. It's a bowl game, meaningless exhibition that nobody cares about. Some of the players won't even play in that game. The point is, though, it shouldn't be, that's our argument today. Our argument is that it shouldn't be who you perceive to be the 4 best teams. There has to be something from what actually happened, what occurred on the field to come into your judgment of who is the 4 teams. There has to be. If not, why the hell are we playing the games? And that's what Norvell said.
Exactly. And the thing is, and I said this last week, it almost seemed like the committee and a lot of people stumping for Alabama fell into a language trap. Best does not equal hottest. Hottest equals hottest. Best means the combination of what you've done this year and how good you are now. I mean, look, Florida State is not that good right now. I mean, offensively.
Right, we'll admit that.
They're great defensively, but they're not that great offensively.
That's what I thought.
But they got through the entire season. And everybody has injuries.
Right.
Maybe not to your Heisman Trophy quarterback, but to navigate through everything they did. And best to me is a combination of hottest or best at the moment and what you've done all year. And it felt like the committee got into the trap of misconstruing hottest with best, because those two things are not those two things are not interchangeable.
How about
the thing is, even to say they're the hottest again, a week ago they had to have a 4th and 31 to beat a 6-6 team.
That doesn't count.
Right. Apparently, only the last game counts.
And the thing is, Florida State's not a good offense. I don't know what Florida State's offense would be with Rodemaker at the quarterback position. We get to see one game with it.
I know they're pretty good at running back. I know they're pretty good at wide receiver. And that helps a lot, no matter who your quarterback is.
And I know Mike Norvell's a pretty good coach, and give him a month to work on that offense with this new quarterback. I would guess they'll probably end up pretty good in offense.
And I'm pretty sure that defense is lights out. Yes. I'm just saying, if we're going by what happened championship weekend, I don't think anybody wants to play that defense.
Yeah, I don't get it. They gave up 6 points to the number 14 team in the nation. All right, so now there are people writing about it. I tweeted it out. I was kind of tongue-in-cheek, but still I'm a little bit serious about it. The power of Greg Sankey, the power of Nick Saban, the power of the SEC. How much did that play into this?
They'll never admit it, but a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because the SEC has the reputation of being the best of the best. And I think the non-coaches, I would love to be privy to what happened in that room, because I think the coaches would probably look at the SEC like I do, and I think like y'all do, that it's down this year, which it is.
Yeah.
And I think that the individuals who aren't coaches would probably be swayed by what traditionally has been the power, which is the SEC, and they're not supposed to do that. There's that stupid cliche they have, or leave your hat at the door, and try to be unbiased and try to look at everything objectively. And okay, but all those people in that room know how good the SEC has been, and they're going to keep that in mind, whether they say it or not. They're going to keep that in mind, even in years like this where the SEC is down, where it's down. And it's. I mean, I feel awful for Florida State.
Well, all you have to do, and to your point, all you have to do, and I'm not saying that they don't deserve, because I have been saying all along that I think they're going to end up getting 4 teams in the New Year's Six / playoffs, meaning the SEC. And I know there were some people that kind of second guessed, well, I don't know about Ole Miss. I go, I'm telling you, they're going to get in. That just shows you the power of the SEC, their fan bases, the money they bring. Ole Miss, Missouri, Georgia all get in to New Year's Six to go along with Alabama in the actual playoff.
Yeah. But now in the new look playoff, Missouri deserves it.
I'm saying
Miss,
they deserve it. They deserve it. But I'm just telling you that people were saying, they're not going to take Ole Miss because they're going to take Missouri. I'm like, I think they're taking both.
The thing is,
sure, absolutely.
And Barrett, I do,
because they're SEC teams.
Right. It's weird because, I do agree that it was a down year for the SEC. But in the end, they finished with 5 of the top 13 teams in the rankings. So how down can you be if you've got 5 of the top 13 teams in America?
Well, but I think in the case of Alabama, squeaked by Arkansas, squeaked by Texas A&M, lost to Texas, they're squeaked by Auburn. It's one of those things where if you're talking about the best team, you mentioned, we talked about the SEC inherent SEC bias. Well, yeah, Alabama's a perfect example. This is a team that squeaked by some bad football team. Well, 4 years ago, okay, yeah, that makes sense. SEC's tough, whatever. Arkansas is awful. Auburn's awful. Texas A&M is, okay, but at that point,
Mississippi State is awful. It's the bottom tier of the teams,
and that's it. It is.
They only got 9 into the bowls.
The bottom is down for sure. And the other thing, and the reason I believe it's down, if you look at the non-conference portion of the schedule, they just didn't perform the way they normally do. They didn't have the big non-conference wins. LSU loses to Florida State. Alabama loses at home to Texas. In all the big non-conference matchups, generally the SEC lost.
Yeah, it's true. Now, I think I wouldn't take that with a grain of salt because obviously, you have to weigh the matchups. I get that. Arizona losing is a big deal. That's one of those where maybe flew under the radar to Mississippi State. But it's just the matchups matter.
Mm-hmm.
But when the number one matchup is a double-digit loss to Texas, I know Alabama's gotten better throughout the course of the season. But it's not like they're juggernaut, right? Is Alabama the best team in the country right now? No, absolutely not. Are they number 2 or number 3 or number 4 in the country right now in terms of how they're playing right this very second? Maybe, although I would love to see Ohio State with Kyle McCord against them.
Yep.
I would love to see Georgia again. I would love to see Oregon. It's not like Alabama's head and shoulders above those teams because they're not head and shoulders above Arkansas, Texas A&M, or Auburn.
But they're getting their opportunity to show it because they won the SEC championship, and the SEC championship goes a long way. Because I'm telling you right now, you can make an argument for Ohio State, and they weren't even in the conversation. Certainly, you can make an argument right now for Georgia that they're one of the top 4. But Florida State went out there on the field, and I think we're all in agreement here. They earned it. All right, couple of things.
Let me ask you
Go
this,
ahead.
guys. I know we're short on time, but let me ask you this. If Clemson has 1 fewer loss, does Florida State get in?
Yeah, that's the thing I get. Clemson, they won 2, Clemson won. Clemson was a top 10 team in the preseason.
Right. No, it's a great point. It's a great point. And again, I go back to my point. If McCarthy and Penix got hurt in their respective conference championship games, are you going to tell me that Michigan and Washington aren't in the playoff? That's BS. They would absolutely be in the playoff. All right, who wins the Heisman?
I can't tell you who I voted for. because they will hunt us down and
shoot
stab
you.
us.
Yeah. Who do you think will win? Daniels?
I'll put it this way. We talked about SEC bias, how dumb it is in terms of the race for college football playoffs. It's not dumb when it comes to the race for Heisman.
Okay. And Nick's, of course, had his opportunity. Oregon lost to Washington. That's the rarity when Vegas really gets it wrong, and they really got that one wrong. Okay, also, how good a hire for Houston was it picking up Willie Fritz? And have you heard any names for Tulane? I bring that up because, obviously, they're in the American Conference.
Yeah, enormous for Houston. I mean, Willie Fritz. Well, Willie Fritz has been trying to get out of there for a couple years for some reasons that I think a lot of us know already. But to go from Dana to Willie Fritz, a guy who's super disciplined, a guy who's resurrected and helped navigate Georgia Southern into FBS, and then make Tulane a perennial New Year's Six contender. I mean, it's perfect for Houston. It's exactly what they need. He is a phenomenal head coach. I know he's a little up there in age, but it doesn't matter. And as far as Tulane, I would definitely, I haven't heard a ton of names, but I would definitely look at assistant coaches in the Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi footprint.
Mm-hmm.
You look at that area, that's exactly what Tulane is.
Great stuff, Barrett. As always, you can check him out at CBS Sports, CBS Sports HQ, Sirius XM College Radio. Follow him on Twitter at Barrett Salee. We'll talk next Monday. Thank you, Barrett.
Thanks, y'all. See you.
Here in Memphis, we've got a lot of great local breweries making a lot of great beer. And now with City Brew Tours Memphis, you can tour some of those breweries while sampling some of their great beers, learning about their beers, the different beers they make, what the different types of beer are. You get the beer history, all the secrets behind some of these great Memphis brews. And you can do it with City Brew Tours Memphis while getting those samples, while getting some snacks with them as well. And plus, they're providing all the transportation. They're taking you from brewery to brewery for you to do these tours and sample these great beers. It's a great day out with some friends, great for a special event like a birthday, maybe a bachelor party, bachelorette party, anything like that. You can book these tours at citybrewtours.com/Memphis. That's citybrewtours.com/Memphis, and learn about these great beers being made here in Memphis while having a great time doing it as well. And they got different packages that you can sign up for as far as what is included, all of that stuff from different breweries and all of that. You can check it all out on the website, citybrewtours.com/Memphis for City Brew Tours.
All right, when we come back, final segment in hour two, more on the Tigers going to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game, some of the other regional teams and SEC teams, where they're going. And then hour number three, we'll get into the Memphis Tigers basketball team and their loss in Oxford against Ole Miss, plus the Grizzlies. That's all coming up. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5S Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5S Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
This time of year, big box tool stores start to sell a whole bunch of not tools, from dancing Santas to plastic trees. At Northern Tool and Equipment, we'd rather sell you a 4-horsepower chainsaw fitted with a full chisel chain to cut down your own tree. And we have wood chippers come January, because mulch. We're cutting prices on hand and power tools, heaters, and pressure washers this holiday season. Save in store or at northerntool.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
When the weather gets better, I found a new place to really soak it in. It's the patio at the Commissary in Collierville. We all love the delicious Memphis-style barbecues. You can begin your barbecue fest with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. Oh, those smoked chicken wings, they're terrific too. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich. A big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. You've got choice, and you've got choice in places. Don't forget the Germantown Commissary as well. Comes with beans and slaw, deviled eggs they're famous for. And Brad, you can even order by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or even a 12-pack. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp. There's something for everybody, and those great desserts. The best icebox lemon pie anywhere. Or my favorite, the banana pudding. Check out the patio, TVs for sports, and music on the weekends. You love the Commissary.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So with Liberty getting the New Year's 6 spot from the group of 5, they'll play in the Fiesta Bowl. That left the American outside looking in, much to the dismay of Commissioner Michael Resco. So Memphis, by playing in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game, will bring in the most money out of any school, and they finished 4th in the American Conference. It'll be SMU and Boston College at Fenway. It will be UTSA and Marshall at the Frisco Bowl. It'll be Tulane, Virginia Tech at the Military Bowl, and then South Florida and Syracuse in the Boca Raton Bowl. And then in the First Responder Bowl, in which Memphis played in last year, it'll be Rice and Texas State. But Memphis brings in the most out of those 6 schools because the AutoZone Liberty Bowl folks had the choice. When it came to that second contract after the SEC versus the Big 12, their contract with the American Conference gives them the choice, and that's more money for the league. So they wanted Memphis, they got Memphis.
Yeah, this again is the issue, like when you talk about the American and why you want to get out of the American so badly. Like for SMU, you win the conference championship game, but because Liberty noses you out for the New Year's 6 bowl game, you dropped all the way down to the Fenway Bowl. Like
right.
the drop off from like getting
was
that,
it
for
$8 million
for that conference champion to get into the New Year's 6 versus if you don't. Like, that's the problem. Like, they're just the bowls outside of that chance of getting into the New Year's 6 are just not that good.
Yeah, it's a good point. So the New Year's 6 games, Ole Miss and Penn State, and they moved Ole Miss and Penn State around number-wise. What was the reasoning again that they changed their seeding? They talked about their ranking. But anyway, Ole Miss and Penn State will play in the Peach Bowl. Congratulations to the Rebels and the Rebels fandom as they'll play in another New Year's 6 game. The Cotton Bowl will feature Missouri and Ohio State. The Orange, as we talked about, Georgia and Florida State. And then the Fiesta Bowl, it's Liberty versus Oregon. As far as the Conference championship games over the weekend. Yes, Bama and Georgia surprised there with Alabama knocking off Georgia. The first loss for Georgia after, 29 straight wins. But the one that really stunned a lot of people, not you and I, was Washington and Oregon. I wasn't picking Washington to win the game necessarily, but you were giving me 9.5 points, and Washington beats Oregon 34-31. That probably closes the door on Bo Nix winning the Heisman, although it wasn't like he had a horrible game. Michael Penix certainly had a good game, but did some things that were rough as well. But remember, these are two really good teams playing in a championship game, whereas Jaden Daniels was at home enjoying a chalupa. But he's going to more than likely win the Heisman Trophy. As far as the other ones are concerned, obviously Tulane losing at home to SMU, that was a surprise.
SMU's defense was incredible. Just absolutely beat the heck out of Michael Pratt and wouldn't allow them to do anything. And the backup quarterback was good enough. Certainly, it will let the defense do their thing, but he was also good. So impressive. Rhett Lashley's got to be up there on some of these coaching lists.
I would think so. Memphis, by the way, scored 34 against SMU in their loss, 38-34. Tulane only able to muster 14. That's with Michael Pratt. The question is, Michael Pratt can use a final year of eligibility unless he opts for the NFL draft. Will he stay at Tulane? Will he follow Willie Fritz to Houston? Will he go somewhere else, or will he go to the NFL? And that's why I said with Memphis, you think about this. UTSA no longer has Frank Harris. He's finally done after 7 years. I'm serious, 7 years. And you have SMU leaving the conference. Memphis, with Seth Hennigan coming back, how many schools in the nation will have a returning quarterback that started his first 3 years and now about to start his 4th year? You probably can count it on one hand. Memphis has to be the favorite, I would think. And they're going to have a rough schedule. They got to play Florida State out of schedule. They have to play Troy. Troy is actually a really good team, but they get them at home. And the conference schedule, which we don't know yet, has to be tougher than what it was last year. But I got to think Memphis goes in as the favorite.
Yeah, I don't know what we'll see what UTSA has and what all these teams get in the transfer portal. We'll decide a lot of that stuff. So, but certainly if Seth Hennigan is back, a 4th-year starting quarterback, you would think that would give you a pretty good shot in a pretty weak conference.
Yep, and he went this on the social media over the weekend announcing that he is returning.
Fleet Feet, the place to go to get all your running gear. You want to go get the best shoes for you. And we just had the St. Jude Marathon over the weekend. Kudos to all those runners out there and everybody involved. That's such a great event and raises so much money for St. Jude. It's awesome to see that every year. And I know a lot of those folks, I'm sure, were wearing shoes and gear from Fleet Feet. You can go to either one of the 2 locations of Fleet Feet in East Memphis. It's in the Laurelwood Shopping Center out in Collierville, Poplar and Houston Levy next to Huey's. You go in there, they take a look at the way you run, the way you walk. They get you fitted with shoes that are just right for you, plus all the other gear that you need. They've got you taken care of, and they've got great folks in there to help you as well. Even if you've got questions about maybe getting started, maybe your goal is to, hey, next year I want to run in the St. Jude Marathon, never ran before. Well, go in there, talk to them. They can talk to you about getting started. They can talk to you about training for races, all of that stuff, because they are all runners at Fleet Feet.
All right, when we come back, we'll turn our attention to basketball. The latest with the net rankings that are used by the selection committee. They're updated daily. We'll tell you where Memphis stands after their loss Saturday in Oxford to Ole Miss. Why did they lose that basketball game? We'll take your calls and texts on Memphis basketball. We'll talk some Grizzlies as well. If we get to the NFL, we'll get to it. If not, we'll push it to tomorrow. But obviously, we want to concentrate on local basketball as it was a split weekend for the Grizzlies and a tough loss for the Tigers. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg at East Memphis Ace. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched, authentic wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your Big Green Egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Ace on the corner of South White Station and Quince Road.
The season has changed. You know how I know? It's finally here, the Family Leisure Christmas Sale. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Oh, we're just beginning. Tired and sore from shopping? Check out the huge selection in stock of hot tubs and massage chairs. Oh, and you can surprise the kids with the best stuff, like a new arcade, a game table, even a play gym. Gifts for the whole family to enjoy and enjoy together. Also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. That's Family Leisure of Memphis. Every year we wait. They always deliver. They've done it again. The Family Leisure Christmas Sale is happening at I-40 and Whitten Road. That's 2120 Whitten Road to be exact. That's the place of shopping heaven. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseburgers.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
It's a holiday experience like no other. The Light Garden in Olive Branch. It's a walk through an entertainment extravaganza with hundreds of giant 3D Christmas light displays, photos with Santa, food and drinks, and special event nights, including fireworks on New Year's Eve. Bring the family out nightly from now through December 31st at Olive Branch City Park. Go to lightgarden.online for details and to buy tickets, and stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM for chances to win tickets to go see the Light Garden in Olive Branch.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still some volume out here as we check it out live on 40 westbound, anywhere you're traveling between Germantown Parkway all the way up to Sycamore View Road. Traffic's still a little bit busy, but it's moving fairly decent on 385 Bill Morris Parkway as you continue out of Collierville, headed towards 240, coming up through South Haven. That still looks good, actually, northbound 55 all the way into South Memphis. Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64. Shop local this holiday season at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Wow, a busy show to say the least. One more hour to go on this Monday, December 4th, 2023. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy. Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure's Christmas sale continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Nice day today on tap. 50 degrees currently. Sunshine. We're looking at a high today near 53. Some clouds mixed in tonight with a low of 38 degrees. We talked obviously plenty of college football, the playoffs, the bowls, Memphis's AutoZone Liberty Bowl game invitation. But now we turn our attention to basketball. And Saturday, not good. Memphis once again loses in Oxford to the Ole Miss Rebels, an Ole Miss team that was undefeated, but really nobody knew how good they were. But you figured they would step up. They always do when they play Memphis. And the Tigers, who held the lead for 33 and a half minutes, fall 80-77 to the Ole Miss Rebels. The Ole Miss starters dominated the Tiger starters, and Matthew Morrell, the kid from Memphis, who was off to sort of a slow start, 20 points. You knew he would step up. Meanwhile, Memphis couldn't hit the side of a barn. 3 of 18 from 3. Ole Miss was 11 of 22. The latest net rankings, again, which come out daily and help determine the NCAA tournament field, Memphis now at number 71 after the loss. They're 0-1 in Quad 1 games, 2-1 in Quad 2, 1-0 in Quad 3, and 2-0 in Quad 4. Nice win for the Rebels, who remain unbeaten. Bad loss for the Tigers.
Yeah, they had no business losing that game. They basically let 3 guys beat them. For the life of me, I don't understand what in the world they were doing down the stretch. For David Jones to not get a shot in basically the last 6 minutes of the game and barely touch the basketball, really. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't. Penny talked about we wanted to run through Quinterly, and we were just kind of letting him. Quinterly was not having a good game. He shot it extremely poorly. I don't understand how, with Jones doing what they did, Flanagan had 4 fouls at the time. They don't really have a good matchup for Jones. How in the world your strategy became, let's run Javon Quinterly off ball screens and let him try and play downhill? They've got a 7-footer in the lane, so he's not going to be able to really create in the lane off the ball screens. I am dumbfounded by their offense down the stretch. I don't even get it. And the idea, they didn't have anybody who could guard Jalen Murray. But you don't have to guard 2 of the guys on the floor. But Brakefield, you didn't have to guard. He couldn't make a shot. And you really don't have to really guard whoever the 7-footer is with one of the 2 out there. So you'd think you might run and try and get the ball out of Murray's hands. And they didn't. They just kept trying to guard him one-on-one. He just kept beating whoever was trying to guard him. They had no answer for him. This is they should have been up by about 15 at halftime, probably. They were only up by 7 then. But once they went up by 11 in the second half, they had a chance to put that game away and couldn't do it. And then down the stretch, again, the last 5:50 of the game, David Jones didn't take a shot. That is not... It's not even possible to explain how that would happen.
Yeah, you worry, and one of the worries going into the season was you have so many guys that have done it before and expect to do it now, and Quinterly shot the ball horribly, and yet he tried to play hero ball. Now, whether or not that was instructed by Coach Hardaway or that was Quinterly just taking the shots himself, but he was 2 of 12 and 0 of 4 from 3. David Jones has been the most consistent player, and not only consistently very, very good. 9 of 17 from the field. He went 2 of 8 from 3, so I know he didn't shoot the outside rock that much, or that well. But David Jones is your go-to guy. And as you said, they got away from it. Now, after the game, Coach Hardaway talked about putting the blame on him. He took the blame for not getting the ball to David Jones. Well, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely, you could take the blame, but that is absolutely ridiculous that he didn't get the ball. There were a lot of other things.
But it's on Penny. Penny said, we were running, all they were doing is they wanted to put the ball in Javon Quinterly's hands, set ball screens for him, and let him do his thing. It was Penny's fault.
Oh, so I didn't even know he said that about Quinterly. I was doing a women's game. I was not there. I know that he said it was his fault for not getting David Jones the ball, but I didn't know the strategy was to give it to Javon Quinterly. Now, Quinterly has to have the ball in his hands because he's the quarterback out there. He has 6 assists in the game, just 2 turnovers. But Quinterly's got to be looking for the best shot. And the best shot isn't Quinterly jacking up shots. You had the timeout that was taken late, but Penny said he'll stick with that a million times to call that timeout, to use that final timeout to get his defense set. The problem is the defense didn't do a good job because they gave up 2 key threes down the stretch, and then when it came down to the final seconds, they didn't have a timeout, and they jacked up the 3 and ended up losing the game, had the foul at the very, very end. But you're right, there were 3 guys that were killing them. They were all starters. So the Ole Miss starters, once again, carried the load and outplayed the Memphis starters. And once again, Jordan Brown, non-existent for Memphis. They only played him 6 minutes. I don't know what the deal is with that guy. But Malcolm Dandridge did some really good things. He ended up with 13 points and hit 6 of 9 from the field. So Dandridge picked up for Jordan Brown, who has really been non-existent throughout the start of this season. But that's a game you really needed to get. Now they got to turn around, go to Richmond, play VCU. Not a great VCU team, but a capable team, especially at home. And then next Sunday, that's Wednesday, and then Sunday, they're at Texas A&M. These are extremely important games when it comes down to getting as high a seed as you possibly can in March/April.
The final 2 possessions. The final possession is just a terrible shot by a senior point guard who's got to make a better decision. Like that is.
It's hero ball. That's what it is.
Like that, I don't even know. And Penny is correct. He said the play was for Ashton in the corner, and Ashton was open. Like if Quinterly hits him, like he's got an open look at a 3 to tie the game. They set a good screen. He's standing in the corner. He was going to have a good look for Quinterly to throw up a sideways running 3 with like 3 seconds still left in the game. I don't know what that there. But the possession before that was awful as well. And a lot of that was, again, Quinterly made a bad decision there. The final defensive possession, not the one where they fouled, where they had to foul, but the one before that, they had, and this is why I think using the timeout was idiotic and they needed to save a timeout. But that possession, they had Dandridge and Ashton out there defensively in that possession when Ole Miss was small. There's no reason, like, you certainly can't have both of those guys out there. Mm-hmm. And that's when Murray gets the shot in the corner because he loses the defender and Dandridge tries to get out there. There was some, communication issues on the screen. Dandridge is late to try and get out there because Mills had switched, and he hits the long 2 from the corner. But I don't know why you have Dandridge and Ashton both out there defensively for that possession. There was just a lot down the stretch. It was a colossal disaster down the stretch, quite both offensively and defensively.
Well, let me ask you this: and Ole Miss ends up leading 4 minutes and 21 seconds, but they led at the most important time, the end of the game. They couldn't defend Matthew Morrell. You knew he was going to have a big game. 6 of 7 from beyond the arc. Memphis continues to struggle in defending the arc. 11 of 22 was Ole Miss. Meanwhile, Memphis 3 of 18. 3 of 18. Yet the Tigers at one point had an 11-point lead. They led throughout this game. When it came down to it, there's a lot of people saying that it was simply Chris Beard out-coaching Penny Hardaway. Now, you said that Penny had a good play design there, and it was Quinterly trying to play hero ball. Is that on the coach? Did Chris Beard out-coach Penny down the stretch, and that's why Ole Miss won the game? Or was it just simply Memphis, the deficiencies happened because the players made bad decisions, and meanwhile Ole Miss made some key shots?
Well, I think, and I knew going in, I mean, I would have guessed going in because I think Chris Beard's going to out-coach most guys that go. No, Chris Beard, again, down the stretch, there were a lot of dumb decisions made. Like, again, using the timeout. Why are you just constantly putting the ball in Quinterly's hands and not getting Jones involved at all? You should have been ISOing Jones to get everybody else out there, get him the ball, especially if they're going to try and guard him with Flanagan, who has 4 fouls. He's one of 3 guys they have. Mm-hmm. Chris Beard was smart enough. they can't stop Murray. Let's just keep going to Murray. Like, let him do his thing. And Murray absolutely toasted him down the stretch. Again, the final possession, yes, they set up a play where Ashton was open in the corner. That's a bad play by Quinlan. The possession before that, I don't know what the play was supposed to be, but that was a bad offensive possession. There was everything down the stretch. Granted, going 3 of 18, that's not Penny's fault from three-point range. They went 3 of 18. But there was some horrendous decisions down the stretch, I thought, both by players but also by Penny, that cost them that game.
Jalen Murray ended up with 22 points and 9 assists. All right, if you want to chime in on Tigers basketball, 360-8255. You can call in or you can text in. Willie is first. Hi, Willie.
Yeah, guys, I'm a first-time caller.
Thank you.
Well, I want to say something about Penny.
Mm-hmm.
He ran that same offense when he was at East. And you cannot run that offense one-on-one ISO.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work against a team like Ole Miss. Ole Miss, Chris Beard ran that team, and all those guys played together. They did not go off and all this one-on-one attribute. I'll tell you what, I get off and let y'all come in on that.
Thank you, Willie. Appreciate the phone call. I think Willie's right on. More of a total team effort there by Ole Miss, whereas Memphis. And again, that's
I told you, they're really their team. They got 3 guys. They have 3 guys, and in Memphis let 3 guys beat them. It is Murray, Morrell, and Flanagan. Because if Brakefield has the game he had, like they don't. You have 3 guys that can score the basketball on that team, and Memphis let those guys all score down the stretch.
But at least Brakefield contributed with 6 rebounds. He had 4 block shots. They got some scoring from Sharp, who had 8 points. Jordan Brown, 2 points, played 6 minutes and 39 seconds. But at least Malco stepped up, and so did Nick Jourdain.
Dandridge was awesome.
And Jourdain had 10 points and 7 rebounds, but he was a minus 17 out there on the court. But to Willie's point, that's the worry about Memphis is in these close games, is there going to be too much hero ball? Is there going to be one guy, no, this guy wants the ball. No, this guy needs the ball. And obviously it was Quinterly with, the thought process of I'm going to win this game for Memphis, when he had the opportunity, like you said, and Penny said on that last play, to get it to a wide open Ashton in the corner.
He probably lost track of time, but again, as a senior, like you've got to be able to. First of all, 6 seconds is plenty of time to get down the court, make a pass.
Absolutely,
it is certainly not. I have to run down the court and fire something up on the dead run like that. There's 6 seconds is a lot of time to get down the court. I was wondering whether Ole Miss would foul or not in that situation. Chris Beard chose not to foul. Let that play out. Of course, and again, Quinterly takes a bad shot. Now, who knows if Ashton's going to make the 3 or not? But he was certainly had an opportunity to get a good look when it comes to that. Again, it's the ISO offense that they want to run.
Mm-hmm.
That's whatever, if that's what you want to do. But you've got to know who needs the ball. Like David Jones has to get the ball in the final 5 minutes of a game.
Absolutely.
Like he just has to. You have to run plays. You have to get. It has to be designed. We're going to get him the battle. I don't care if you want to ISO him once he gets it and you just literally clear the half court and say, go do it. But he's got to get the basketball in the last 5 minutes of a game. It's an unbelievable that you would have him not take a field goal for almost 6 minutes in a close game down the stretch.
Yeah, no argument from me. Coach Dorsey is dialed in. Hey, Coach.
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Hey, y'all keep the work up, man. Y'all doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Y'all talking, y'all telling the truth, man. Y'all, when Penny do good, y'all say how good y'all. But I just want to ask y'all quickly, because I'm getting off the phone real quickly.
Sure.
It was about 2 or 3 minutes left. I heard a broadcaster say that Ole Miss coach loved getting down here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought at that point maybe he should have went to a little zone, man, on that point, because he knew the guy was going to try to get down, man. And you can't switch off, man. So what did y'all think about that? That's all. I mean, we got to play a different defense.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Again, with the fact that they have 3 guys, I would have, and they don't do it. I would go zone against Ole Miss in most cases, because again, you got 2 guys out there that generally you don't have to worry about offensively. You're just making sure you know where the other 3 guys are. And yes, especially when Murray just kept. It didn't matter who was guarding him. They tried everybody, and he just kept beating every one of them off the dribble. And there was never the help wasn't good at getting there. Like it was generally bad. Jourdain. I think Jourdain gets lost defensively a lot. It seems like he seems like in switches or whatever. Jourdain seems to get a little bit confused on defense. I don't know, but yeah, I would have absolutely tried to do anything to keep Murray out of the lane with what he was doing. Like you had nobody that could stop him.
Murray gets to the lane, but he also hits 4 of 6 from 3. So combined with Morrell, the M&M boys went 10 of 13. Here's the thing. Jalen Murray played 39 minutes and 39 seconds, for goodness sakes.
Oh, that kid is tough as nails. He is a New York kid. He's from the Bronx, and he plays like it. Like that dude is a gamer. He loves that moment. He loves that atmosphere, I think. He was on that St. Peter's team that made the long run in the NCAA tournament. That dude is a tough I
Greg is next. Hi, Greg.
Hey, man. Love listening to you guys all morning.
Thank you.
Look, I kind of hate to say it because you shouldn't have to say it at this point in Penny's career. But I believe Penny is learning how to actually coach this team. And that's not, I can't say that's bad, but it's not good because seasoned coaches, they just know how to coach good teams. But Penny is a good coach. He just kind of dropped the ball down there at Ole Miss, and that's a game we should have. We really needed to win, and I hate that we lost that game. But everything you guys saying that Penny didn't do with his players, with the players he has, is correct. And I'm like everybody else. I'm wondering why he just didn't recognize this.
Yeah. That's a good point. We don't know. We don't have the answer yet.
Yeah, well, I tell you, we still got a chance, and I believe this team is a tournament team. I think we can beat. I think we can come. We can play with Texas A&M. We can probably. This is a good basketball team.
I agree.
Penny gonna have to hone in on maximizing the skills of his players.
Right.
And we got FAU still on the schedule. We still got Texas A&M.
Clemson, Virginia.
West Virginia, we should do good in the conference. You want to get a higher seed, so Penny going to have to take advantage of these chances, man.
Thanks you, Greg. And thanks for listening, Greg. Well, there's no question. We talked about it ad nauseum. The conference stinks, with the exception of Florida Atlantic, which, by the way, put up, I think it was 95 or 96 in their win against Texas A&M. Other than that, it's only going to hurt you if you lose a game because it's not going to help you if you win over the likes of Rice and UTSA and East Carolina. So that means you have to win these games. That's a tough loss. It was on the road, okay? And Ole Miss, they get hyped up to play Memphis. There's no question. They've dominated that series in Oxford. But Memphis has to win some of these roadies, and I think they have a great chance. And I agree with Greg. This is a good team. Doesn't mean that the season's over because they lost that game, but you have to figure out what's wrong, and then you have to correct it. You have to fix it. How did they do as far as giving up offensive rebounds? Let's see. Ole Miss had 10. Memphis got 16 offensive rebounds. So Memphis did a better job in going to the boards.
Memphis had 50 to 30 advantage in points in the paint, 18 to 10 advantage in second chance points, 35 to 9 bench points. Like,
you should win the game.
They should win the game. Like they absolutely should win this game. And the thing is, like these are the types of games. This is the type of loss that ends up making you an 7 or 8 rather than that 5 or 6. And it just Villanova continues to pile up losses. they finished last in your Big 5. Big
6.
That is still a quad 1 loss, but it's literally they're right on the limit. They are number 50.
Incredible.
Which if they fall one spot, Missouri is like 114th in the net. So I thought that would be a quad 1 loss because on the road, but Missouri is right now at like 114. Again, these are going to change mightily as they go along, as conference play and all that stuff. Ole Miss is at 95 right now. You hope that those maybe both can get up there into the top 75, and those become quad 1 losses because they're on the road. But now it just puts more pressure on the next one, the Texas A&M, the Clemsons, the Virginias. Like, you've got to get some of these wins, and it's just this was a game. This was sitting like. Honestly, they should have won this game by double digits. Like they should beat this Ole Miss team by double digits.
Not to stir it up, but I was asked by somebody if Stansbury was coaching them, did they win?
I have
down
no
the stretch.
I don't know.
With his experience.
I don't know I don't know how much Penny listens to those guys. All of that stuff. I don't know. But the Jordan Brown thing, Penny talked about afterwards that he's got to be a double guy for us.
If you play him 6 minutes, he's not going to get a double-double.
Well, he said, I got to play more than 6 minutes, but he got the 2 fouls right away. And then the second, if you watch him,
is he just slow?
It's hard to put him on the court. He's slow. He seems like he doesn't finish. The first play of the game, he had a layup, and he couldn't finish it. He's worried that he's going to get it blocked, and he's doing something like, dude, you're massive. Go try and dunk the basketball. And
right.
Good chance you'll get fouled, but right now, the way he's playing, and especially with the way Dandridge is playing, you can't put Brown out there ahead of Dandridge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dandridge that dunk Dandridge had on Musa? Oh, goodness gracious. They had the block. Dandridge was awesome. Dandridge, and again, Dandridge needs his rest. But right now, Dandridge is way better than Jordan Brown.
He is. He's playing way better than them. And Dandridge, throughout his career, you have seen signs of, wow, that Gonzaga game in the tournament, that you say, what? He should have had a better career. But the knees have been an issue. And the motor at times have been an issue. But we saw the motor there. We just... Look, it's his 5th year. You can't say he's got to be more consistent. He's not consistent. That's a part of the issue. But you're right. Right now, he's easily the better option than Jordan Brown.
And on the Ole Miss side of things, the idea that they have won every one of these games that has come down literally to the final possession it's almost impossible to do it. But I mean, Detroit had a final shot to beat them. Temple had a final shot to beat them. Memphis had a final shot to tie them. Sam Houston, I can't remember if they actually had the shot or not, but it was a 3-point game. They've won,
So is it luck? Is it the coach? I mean, you got one of the great tacticians out there. I mean, you can certainly have your issues with him, the man, but as far as the coach?
No, he's an unbelievable coach. He is a great coach. And, they've made the plays that they need to make to give themselves the lead. In this game, they made the plays to get themselves the lead. Murray made those plays. The Temple game, Flanagan made the play, got fouled, goes to the free throw line, makes both free throws. Mm-hmm. The Detroit game, I'm trying to think how that worked out down the stretch, how they made those plays. Sam Houston, I didn't see that game. That was the Tad Pad game. But again, a 3-point game. But the idea that you could get in this many literally one possession, 1, 2, 3-point games, and just keep winning every one of them. It's pretty incredible. But yes, part of that is the coaching, and it's also guys making plays in those situations. And Murray is a tough kid. Flanagan has been through so many big games in his career at Auburn and everything else. Flanagan loves that moment as well. Those are two guys that love those big moments and will make those plays.
And Morrell likes the big moment of playing against his hometown team. All right, the top 25 will come out later. No argument this week as far as Memphis being in or not. They will not be in, but there could be a big shakeup. A lot of ranked teams went down. We're going to talk about that when we return. We're going to get into the Grizzlies. We'll continue to take your calls on either Tigers basketball or on the Grizzlies. Probably move NFL talk until tomorrow since it's been such a busy day. There is some portal news. Today is the first day officially. Players can jump into the portal. Will Rogers, we knew already that he was going to leave Mississippi State. According to reports, he's headed to the University of Washington. So become a Husky. Michael Penix Jr. will move on to the NFL, presumably. And Will Rogers will move out to the West Coast. Folks, a great place for lunch or for dinner. If you want an event catered, they can do that for you as well. And that's the Crazy Coop, the best wings in town, and it's all about the flavors. 27 different to choose from at the Crazy Coop, including the mango habanero, the sweet taste of mango, followed by the heat, the sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. Again, that's just a couple of the 27 delicious flavors that you can put on their whole wings, party wings, their boneless wings, even those big, juicy chicken tenders. 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. That's in Bartlett. And the Crazy Coupe Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. It's near Five Guys. Again, you could take out, order online, have DoorDash or any of the other services deliver. As I mentioned, they will cater your event, so contact them about that. You can find them on Instagram and Facebook. At the Bartlett Restaurant, they have the full menu. That includes all the great sides like the fried okra, the green tomatoes, the fried dill pickles, plus their delicious catfish sandwiches, their half-pound burgers, and so much more. It's the Crazy Coupe. You've tried the rest. Now try the best hot wings in town. The Crazy Coupe at 7199 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten, and the Crazy Coupe Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You gotta check out Genesis Diamonds for the holidays. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine. This year, when it comes to jewelry for Christmas, you have a refreshing alternative. Genesis Diamonds gives you so much more in quality, in selection, and in value. And right now, you can buy anything at Genesis and get 5 years, 0 interest financing. So you can get that $3,000 diamond pendant and pay just $50 a month, or that $6,000 eternity band for just $100 a month. Everything's included in this amazing holiday offer. All GIA certified natural diamonds and all lab-grown diamonds, even all our luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Imagine that $15,000 Rolex for just $250 a month. You can even finance the sales tax. Don't let talk of rising prices and high interest rates dampen your holiday spirit. At Genesis Diamonds, they are lowering prices and taking interest rates down to 0. Get that headliner gift they deserve and make your money go farther than ever. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended on approved credit.
It's a Big Green Egg early Christmas at Cordova Ace Hardware, Friday, December 8th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll cook tenderloin, wings, pizza, and dessert all on the Big Green Egg. Try our new sauces and seasonings and check out the platinum selection of Big Green Egg equipment and accessories. Get $100 off the large egg, $150 off the extra large egg, $50 off the Egg Genius, and up to $70 off the Egg Expander kits. The Big Green Egg early Christmas party, Friday, December 8th, 11 to 6 at Cordova Ace Hardware, 1740 North Germantown.
Wow, I feel good shopping at DriveMax. DriveMax, you get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
How's the Christmas shopping going? Yeah, that's what I thought. But Frontier Western Store will make it a lot easier. Everyone loves something from Frontier. They have thousands of coats, shirts, and boots. Outfit the entire family today. Looking for a Carhartt beanie? Frontier has every color they make. You'll find a whole wagon full of beanies. You'll also run into the largest selection anywhere of in-stock Carhartt and Ariat jackets and coats. They have endless aisles, an astounding collection at amazing prices. Don't forget the boots, work boots, and dress boots from Rocky, Dan Post, and especially Ariat. Frontier is the place to shop for name brand boots at the lowest prices every day. Way lower than chain stores and online. Thousands of boots in all sizes for men, women, and children. Not sure what to get? Frontier gift cards are always the right size, color, and price. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or shop online 24/7 at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Whether it's date night, a birthday, or just because, raise a steak in celebration at Ruth's Chris. Open in the Regalia Shopping Center at the corner of Poplar and Ridgeway. Treat yourself to one of our classic USDA prime beef steaks, seasoned and broiled to perfection. Then serve sizzling hot on one of Ruth's signature 500-degree plates. Visit Ruth'sChris.com to make a reservation. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Memphis. This is how celebrating more is done.
Memphis music legends, the Bar-Kays, will be at this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and you'll want to be there too. The Bar-Kays will be performing the music that made Memphis at the President's Gala on December 28th at the Peabody, and at halftime of the 65th AutoZone Liberty Bowl game on December 29th.
Everybody say, so big up, you get it.
Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Power is everything.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
This hour is brought to you by Acura Memphis, Ridgeway, right there at 385. That's where you'll find Acura Memphis. You're going to find beautiful Acura automobiles, new vehicles, pre-owned vehicles, certified pre-owned Acuras. You'll find them all at Acura Memphis. You'll also find some great people to deal with, make it a great car buying experience overall when you go see the folks at Acura Memphis. Whether you're looking for that new vehicle, maybe you're looking even to lease a vehicle, whether you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, go talk to the folks at Acura of Memphis. You can also get all kinds of information, including the inventory of pre-owned vehicles, by going to their website at acuraofmemphis.com. So looking at the net rankings, again today, the first day that they are out, of the upcoming opponents in the non-conference right now, and these things will change wildly as the year goes along, Texas A&M is at 15, Clemson is at 18, and Virginia is at 27. So certainly some great opportunities in those three non-conference games.
And 2 of the 3 at home.
Yes, and even at home with those current rankings would be quad 1 opportunities, because at home it is top 30. And you got Florida Atlantic, who you know you're going to play twice. They're sitting at 11 right now. Now the problem is the rest of the conference. You do have Tulane right now at 66. Then you got SMU 84, Wichita State 88, North Texas 104, Charlotte 110, Temple 171, Tulsa 178, UAB 235, East Carolina 264.
How about Vanderbilt in the non-conference? 276.
Well, yeah, they've been terrible.
I know, but
South
276.
273, Rice
274,
UTSA 303.
Right.
I mean, it's
no surprise. It's what we've been saying.
Most of your conference games are going to be quad 3 or quad 4.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much just about every one of them. Again, Tulane at 66 right now. Theoretically, right now, that their road game at Tulane, that's a quad 1 opportunity. Whether that's going to be the case when you actually play Tulane, well, we shall see.
They're games that are going to hurt you bad if you lose and not help you if you win. So over the weekend, the number, and there'll be a new poll coming out at about noon, the number 1, 3, 4, 7, 12, 18, and 21 all lost. All ranked, those ranked teams, all lost. Mississippi State lost at home to Southern University, 60-59. But number 1 Purdue loses to Northwestern in overtime, 92-88. Marquette loses at Wisconsin, 75-64. I would imagine Arizona will be the new number 1. Kentucky loses at home to UNC Wilmington, 80-73. UConn lost, but a tough one at Kansas, 69-65. So Kansas, Arizona, one of those two are going to be number 1, I believe. Duke lost at Georgia Tech. How about Damon Stoudemire already picking up a couple of big wins in his first year at Tech? That was 72-68. And you mentioned earlier Villanova. Villanova falls to Drexel, 57-55. Drexel, in its first year of the Big Five, should be the Big Six. It's stupid. But anyway, they have now lost to Big Five teams Penn, St. Joe's, and now Drexel. And Villanova crushed Memphis with that horrible first half for the Tigers. College basketball is already drunk. It has already been something the first month of the year.
Texter texts in, says, should Memphis allow Mikey Williams to join the team this season?
Nope.
I would say no.
How about no way? I mean, come on now. You're gonna throw in a guy, and it's not going to happen, but you're going to throw in a guy into a team that has already been together for 3 months or whatever it is, and chuck in this freshman who's got a learning curve plus everything else that comes with it. No. Maybe if that felony, it's right now he's got a felony, and he's not going to even get the sentencing till August. You got to wait to see if he does everything that he's supposed to do. It will become a misdemeanor. Then there's that possibility he joins the team next year, assuming he wants to go to college next year. He may want to go play in Australia. I don't know the kid. But for this year, no way.
Penny was asked after the game about Mikey. He said, I'm not sure on that. Obviously, Mikey's a part of our team. I just have to get back with the AD. His status hasn't changed as of yet with the school. I have to get with the AD and, talk about it.
Wouldn't he be considered a convicted felon? Right? Right now?
He is, yes.
I can't imagine they give him the green light.
For this, it would be, Mikey, hey, get your community service hours done. Get your anger. He's got to do it. He's got anger management. He's got gun classes, gun safety classes. He's got community service.
And he's done some of it.
I would just, get this taken care of.
Right.
Get this down to a misdemeanor, and then we can talk about whether you're playing basketball at the university.
And I assume he has to do it there in the San Diego community.
I don't think playing for the University of Memphis is considered community service.
No, I don't believe it is. And again, what does it do to the team as far as throwing in another guy already 7 games into the season? We're not talking about him coming now, so it would probably be half the season over with. It doesn't make sense. The Grizzlies return to action Wednesday. They'll play in Detroit. Certainly a winnable game. At that point, they had 8 more games to play before Ja was allowed to come back after 25 games. And I said, look, if they could split the 8, go 4-4 somehow, that would get them 8 wins, 8-17. I just kind of did the math there and came up with, it's doable. It's doable to get to 40, 41, where you want to be to try to get into the play-in. But I thought 8 was key as opposed to 4. Well, they've gone out and they've gotten their 5th as they beat Dallas on Friday night. Dallas playing without Luka Doncic, but it doesn't matter. Memphis was playing without a bunch of their guys, including John Morant. And they knocked off the Mavs 108-94. Des Bane had 30. Jalen Noel off the bench had 19. Santi Aldama had 17 and 12. Then Saturday, they lost to Phoenix. Pretty good effort, 116-109. Booker came back and Devin at 34. KD played. Jaren had a great game, 37 and 9, and Des added 27. So all in all, they split the 2. Pretty good. Now it's the next 6 without Ja. Can they go 3-3? And I think they're going to start off well. I can't imagine. Well, I guess all bets are off so far this year. But the way Detroit's playing, how many losses now in a row for the Pistons? 17 in a row. You don't want to be the team that they break the streak against. So I think Wednesday is certainly a winnable game in Detroit.
Well, I just, if Jaren can channel that Jaren every single night, dude, against Phoenix, he was, that was everything you want Jaren Jackson Jr.
Exactly.
to be. Dude was just going to the rim, nobody could stop him, and he knew it, and he just was absolutely, that loss at Phoenix, that's a game they should probably lose by 20. Second game of a back-to-back, you're playing Phoenix, who's really good.
Booker's back.
Going to that, they're going to lose by 20. This is it. And they just, they kept hanging around and gave themselves an opportunity. They had the turnover late that really cost them. But, Jaren was just so good. And it's man, oh, man, every night. Do this every single night. Be that unstoppable guy every single night. And unfortunately, he just doesn't do that every night. You get that going. You get Desmond going. Listen, Noel has shown the ability to score. He has come in and he shows he's got the ability to score the basketball. And, they signed him to another 10-day deal. They've still got time here on the hardship because so many guys are out,
But they got the news that Kennard will be back in 2 to 3 weeks. Marcus Smart, same time period. Ja will return, same time period. So they're going to have to make some decisions about Biyombo and maybe now about Noel.
Well, they'll still, until Kennard and Smart come back.
No, I'm saying when they come back.
Yeah, but it's 3 weeks down the road.
Right, but right now, don't you think that Noel, he's pretty good, that you might want to keep Noel, and you certainly want to keep Bismack Biyombo, but that would mean you would have to either find a trade somewhere, maybe trade one of these guys like a Conchar for a second-round pick, do something, or you're just going to have to eat some money and get rid of 2 guys because you're going to have to make 2 roster moves.
Yeah, certainly, again, Noel's shown, Vince Williams is showing that right now,
told you,
he might have to be part of the rotation as well. Now, once those guys come back, he's out, but he certainly, and you can keep him on the 2-way deal if you want. They don't have to worry about that as far as he is concerned. You got him on a 2-way deal, and you're okay with that. But yeah, eventually they're going to have to make a decision with a guy like Noel, and maybe there is a trade out there to be made to unload a couple of guys or something to create some roster spots. But there's no doubt that when Ja comes back, one decision has to be made because of that spot that you have to take care of as far as Biyombo is concerned. But yeah, Noel shows he is not afraid to shoot. I know that much. But he has shown the ability to score the basketball. And if he can continue to do that, hey, there's a spot for you if you can score the basketball.
So they're 5-14. Here are the 6 that they play. Here are the 6 that are remaining before 25 is up and then Ja returns. At the Pistons Wednesday, you better win that one. They have the Timberwolves on Friday at home. I think the crowd's going to be great Friday. First of all, it's a Friday night crowd, and they remember what Anthony Edwards had to say. I think the crowd's going to be great, but I don't know if they win that one. Then they get the Mavericks on Saturday. I guess it depends on if Luka's going to play or not, but the Mavs are going to want a little revenge after losing to the Grizzlies. Then they go, not back-to-back, but there's a day off in between, but they'll play the Rockets in Houston and then at home. I think they'll split those two. The Dillon Brooks return on Friday, December 15th, and then on Monday the 18th is at OKC, and that's going to be tough. Can they get 3 out of those 6? That's the question. I think they certainly can get 2, but maybe the way they've started to play, maybe they can get 3.
By the way, I still can't believe that Dallas went on a 30-0 run in a game and lost.
I know.
Like that's.
Did you see those numbers for Luka?
You're talking about the weirdest thing ever. A team on. If you just say this team had a 30-0 run in the game, like. That's a guaranteed win.
How much did you win by?
That is a guaranteed win. You can't give up a 30-0 run and still win a basketball game. But yet somehow Oklahoma City did that. That is crazy.
Yeah, Luka's triple-double numbers were incredible.
When I saw they went on the 30-0 run, then later I saw the score of the game, I was like, I thought Dallas went on the 30-0 run. I guess it must have been Oklahoma City. And I looked like, no, Dallas went on a 30-0 run, and they lost the game. We got a text from a criminal defense lawyer.
Nice.
It says, as announced, he is not a convicted felon. Usually a diverted sentence is not a conviction. It is a one-time, first-time, get-out-of-jail-free card. A conviction requires a finding of guilt and a sentence. Diversion is a finding of guilt, but not a sentence. The sentence is diverted, postponed, to see if the defendant can comply with certain conditions like anger management, community service, and gun safety classes. If he is successful at alternate programs, he is never sentenced and therefore never convicted, not a felon. So thank you for the explanation.
Yes, thank you very much. So it would end up being a misdemeanor on his record, but not a felon. And right now he doesn't have anything. Okay, that's interesting. I still wouldn't take him just because of the continuity of the team, but who knows?
I wouldn't take him because I'd just say, take care of yourself.
Right.
Get that taken care of, and then come talk to me when you get it down to the misdemeanor.
I agree with that too.
That's the more important part of it for me. I don't care about.
I don't know the kids,
I don't care about the team and all the. I'd be like, dude, get your stuff taken care of. Come talk to us.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know the kid. I just want the welfare of Mikey. Come on. Can he play basketball?
Folks, this year, we're right in the middle of holiday shopping season, and at Genesis Diamonds, they're giving you a great opportunity. You know they've got a great selection, unbelievable selection when it comes to diamonds and engagement rings and all kinds of fine jewelry. Something for every budget out there at Genesis Diamonds. You will find it. Plus, they've got great people to serve you. They don't work on commission, so they're not there to try and pressure you into buying something more expensive. They're there to educate you, help you throughout the buying process. And during the holiday season, they've got even more for you. That is up to 5 years, zero interest financing that is available. That's right now at Genesis Diamonds. They're lowering prices, taking interest rates down to zero. You can't ask for any more as the ability to make your money go further this holiday season than what you can at Genesis Diamonds. Located at Poplar and Perkins Extended. It's in the Poplar Commons Shopping Center. They're right in the middle of there. If you haven't been by there, you'll be amazed the moment you walk in the door at the selection, the prices, the service, everything you get at Genesis Diamonds. And right now you can get up to 5 years, zero interest financing for the holiday season at Genesis Diamonds.
All right, when we come back, final segment, we'll tie up some loose ends, got a few more college football notes, a little bit on the NFL, although we'll break down the games from Week 13 tomorrow on the program. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
This time of year, big box tool stores start to sell a whole bunch of not tools, from dancing Santas to plastic trees. At Northern Tool and Equipment, we'd rather sell you a 4-horsepower chainsaw fitted with a full chisel chain to cut down your own tree. And we have wood chippers come January, because you know, mulch. We're cutting prices on your favorite brands this holiday season. Save on Milwaukee, Steel, and Lincoln Electric in-store or at northerntool.com.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Get them to sign on the line which is dotted.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Gonna put the world away for a minute. Pretend I don't.
So Boise State not only wins the Mountain West Championship, but they destroy UNLV. Wow, what a finish. Team that Memphis knocked off here in Memphis this year. They get rid of their coach, Andy Avalos, and they win the Mountain West Championship. And so yesterday they announced that Spencer Danielson, the interim coach, will get the head coaching gig. He will get the permanent job, Spencer Danielson at Boise State. Good for him. We already talked about Willie Fritz heading to Houston. So Tulane has an opening. Who else has openings right now? In Indiana filled theirs with the guy from JMU, Cignetti.
I don't know for sure.
Syracuse filled theirs with the defensive backs coach from Georgia. So I'm just curious what else is out there. I thought maybe Jeff Traylor would get a job, but more than likely he'll remain at UTSA. So the NFL, as I mentioned, we don't have time to talk about it today. We will do a segment probably in our first hour tomorrow. We'll wrap up Week 13 tonight with the Bengals at the Jags. We'll have that game for you right here on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, beginning with the pregame at 7. But I did want to mention last night, the game between Kansas City and Green Bay, won by Green Bay. And Jordan Love played outstanding. He's been really good. But my gosh, the officiating in that game, down the stretch, play after play after play. And I love the fact that Terry McCauley, who's the rules analyst for the folks on NBC, for Tirico and Collinsworth, was every time saying, yep, that's the wrong call. That's a bad call. That should have been called. I'm glad it wasn't just a yes man. Oh, no, they're right. He'd stick up for his fellow officials. And I look at that and go, I mean, how are these guys, their grade from the league has to be an F. There were so many bad calls.
The missed pass interference on the play to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I mean, the referee after the game said that they did not, what was the term he said they used? I can't remember what the term he said, but they did not see any, I think it's material obstruction. I think maybe the term they use. If you don't think the defensive back materially obstructed him from making the catch by that contact, I don't know what you're looking at.
He did more than materially.
He came over his back and knocked him to the ground before the ball got there. I don't know. Like, that is, to me, that right there is like why pass interference rule even exists. Like, that is as textbook pass interference, I think, as you could possibly get.
Well, we had the hit on the sideline with Mahomes. Now, again, I understand the protection of the quarterbacks. He's trying to get a first down, and he's in bounds. He's in play. He didn't target him. He didn't go helmet to helmet. I don't understand. You had that one. And then, of course, the Hail Mary, which they never call.
Yeah, and the Hail Mary, like, I don't, that's, everybody's pushing and shoving. That,
right,
I don't,
right.
That one, that, I don't, I don't want, that's stupid to call that, because if you're going to call that, then there's offensive guys shoving.
I agree.
There's defensive guys shoving, all of that stuff.
But there were several other calls
The other pass interference call, the first one, I don't even understand how you possibly missed that call. It's as obvious as could be, and it's in the middle of the open field. Like, there should be 3 officials that had a clear view of that, and for none of them to make that call is crazy to me. You need a tough, reliable tractor to tackle those tough chores? We'll go see the folks at Mid-South Ag Equipment. Check out that Case IH Farm All series of tractors, which they have for you at Mid-South Ag, plus bush hog equipment and much, much more you'll find there. But the Case IH Farm All series, well, versatile performers, great values, great to get whatever it is that you need to get done and save you money as well. And Mid-South Ag has the full line for you. Located just south of Collierville on Goodman Road. Easy to get to off of I-269. They're just a half mile west of the Goodman Road exit there. So easy to get to them and see them at Mid-South Ag Equipment. Plus, you can find them online at midsouthag.com. Check out special deals they've got going on. Check out inventory of equipment that they've got from new to pre-owned. They will also do service on your current equipment. This time of year, you want to make sure you're getting things ready for next year. We'll go see them at Mid-South Ag Equipment.
Hey, I want to thank all you listeners, but also the callers and the texts. Great job in bringing it. And although we may not always see eye to eye, I love different opinions about it. And we certainly had a polarizing topic with the playoff and the committee selections, specifically Florida State being left out and Alabama being put in. Thank you very much. Way to bring it. By the way, Sam Hardiman from the Daily Memphian tweeting out that the Memphis City Council will consider a resolution tomorrow that would ask the University of Memphis Auxiliary Services Foundation, the future owner of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, to add city reps to its board. So we're getting closer and closer to all that coming to fruition with the University of Memphis owning and running Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Our thanks to Barrett Salih for joining us today on the program. Tomorrow, Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis. We'll talk Rhodes Athletics with Zoe Goodson, their men's basketball coach. Blake Topmeyer from USA Network on college football. Plus, we'll have our NFL Week 13 recap, Humdinger's Trivia. We'll give you the topic for 5 favorite things as well, which we'll do on Wednesday. That's all coming up tomorrow, starting bright and early at 7 a.m. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is next for Eli Savoy and Zach Boyd. I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.